All right. Hello. Welcome to the holiday edition of the Patron stream. I hope everybody's doing good on this lovely Tuesday night. We do a couple of shout outs here before we dive into tonight's show, and I bring on my lovely panel of folks here. Shout out to Nico. Thank you for the $10 super chat, sir. Happy holidays, Piz pals, Pats and pals. Hope all are doing well. Thank you, Nico. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. Thank you for that. I've got my buddy Antonis here hanging out with us tonight. We got Richard Skarinki. Hope you're doing well, my friend. We got Grave Dank watching over on Twitch. What's up, Grave Dank? We got Minnie Myers Studio. We got Big T. We got Manifest Fear. Jessica. Ooh, scary profile picture there. Got Captain Halloween with us tonight. How's it going, Captain Halloween? Hope you're doing well. Scratch Burno, how's it going, Scratch? We got Foz here with us tonight. He saw Violent Night and he loves it. I've not seen it yet. 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 I've not seen it y And let's see who else have we got here. We got Zythrox. Got Planet CHH. Christian, hop on, man. Hop on. Got Corey Andrews here. Toronto Freddy, what's going on? Got Barry Pook here. Hello, Barry Pook. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to go ahead and bring on my panel tonight. Joining me, you know him from the Flesh Wound Features YouTube channel. He's the sexiest member of that crew. We all know that. And it's all in the beard. Am I right, Dan?
Absolutely, absolutely. Best beard on the show.
And the hat. I mean, the hat also just kind of, you know, you should be the new Indiana Jones.
There you go. I can honestly say I'm getting to the point where I might look better than the current Indiana Jones. That's sad, but true.
Harrison should pass you the whip. And then like when he hands you his hat, just be like, I got my own.
I know.
You know?
And I'm not going to blow my hip out trying to crack that whip. So there's that. There's that. Yeah.
That happens. That happens. Once you blow a hip, I mean, it's done.
That rock's going to just smash your ass. You're just done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, damn.
Absolutely. But good to see you, Dan. Hope everything's going well for you.
Going very well.
Having a good holiday season?
I am. Just had a wild XPW Merry Christmas event on Fight TV, and February is going to be very interesting, even if you're not a wrestling fan, because there's something big going down in the Los Angeles area in February. So I'm very excited. Been a good month.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Retro Cac thinks one of us is a hot piece of something. So
there you go.
Thank you for that, Gibbs. Always nice to be desired. Yeah. So
I think you might be talking about Joe Bob in the chat. I'm not sure.
That's a definite possibility. Yeah. But good to see you, Dan. Thanks for being here tonight. Right on, man. Also joining me tonight, we have Swaggy G. What's going on, man?
What's up, Piz? How are you? Dan, doing all right?
Doing well, Swaggy.
Thanks for having me.
Right on, man. How are you? How's your holiday season going?
Doing good. I'm taking off the rest of the week from work, so I can't complain about that. Pretty much done with all the shopping, all that kind of BS. So going good. Looking forward to a few days off. Can't complain, man.
Right on. Yeah. One thing I love about my work, always during the holiday season, it's very quiet. It's very slow. You know, people are taking time off. Nobody wants to work that hard. So it's just it's very chill. So yeah, always like this time of year at the office.
Yeah, my job, I get a certain amount of leave that can roll over to a point, and then you get to the point where you got to start using it. So it's almost like a lot of people start, you're like, I haven't seen this person, and they're like, oh yeah, they're out with leave or whatever. So
use it or lose it, and definitely use it. That's for sure. Definitely use it. What are we drinking tonight, Swaggy? Is that red wine?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, nice.
I heard it's good for your heart. So
it's good for your heart. It's good. It's lots of antioxidants. It's actually it's recommended that you drink at least 1 glass of wine a day. So if it's recommended to drink 1, it can't hurt to drink 12, 13, 14. I would think that would be even better.
I'm going to try to pace myself because typically this will last 2 hours.
Correct.
And I'm thinking I'm going to try to watch how many glasses I drink, because sometimes by the end of it, I'm feeling all right, and it does help loosen you up. But,
in vino veritas. In vino veritas. Well, it's good to see you, Swaggy. Glad you're here with us tonight, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Also joining me tonight, all the way from across the pond in ice cold England, Mike, the real Fifth Beat. How's it going, man?
What's all good, man? It's all good, man. All good. Very, very cold, yeah.
Very cold in the UK. All right, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Are you all set for the holiday season?
Yeah, well, I work in retail, so like management and like Walmarty style business, like our version of Walmart. So yeah, it's not like your job is where you can start to relax now. It's getting a bit mental.
Yeah. I'm sure this is your this is your hell. This month is your hell. So.
Yeah, there's no holidays, no holidays for me, unfortunately.
It's Black Christmas, or not Black Friday leads into a whole month of Black Christmas.
I hope it's not Black Christmas.
But it's good to see you, Mike. Hopefully it won't be too well. It'll be bad. I'm sure it's bad every year, but
yeah,
it is. We'll be rooting for you here, and so. Also joining me tonight, we have got Lon. Who's Lon? Hi, Lon.
Hey, Biz. How are you?
Doing
I think
good.
we should ban this holiday once and for all and get it over with.
Wait a minute. You're not in the holiday spirit?
The holiday spirit will never be in me is the more appropriate way to present this argument.
Open yourself up. Let it in.
I'm not going to go towards that light, Carol Ann, no matter how many times you ask me and no matter how many bad performances Jo Beth Williams provides to try and act like she's crying but has to always turn her head. Have you ever noticed that in Poltergeist? Anytime any emotion is actually asked of her, she turns away.
Huh. I don't know if I've ever noticed that.
Yeah. Wish Toby Hooper got to do the bedroom scene like he wanted. Check it out, people. There's the original, pre-production drawings are all available, so you can see what that scene would have been as opposed to what we got. It wasn't her just crawling around the ceilings, friend.
Oh, I'll have to look those up.
I don't think it would have happened in a proper Spielberg production.
Yeah. Steven stepped in there.
Yeah.
Nixed it.
How have you been doing, though, Piz? Is everything good? Is your plans with Jeremy all set for the season?
Yeah. Plans for Jeremy are set. We're going to do our Christmas stream on the 23rd, and he's excited. He's looking forward to it. And my Christmas is pretty much set. I mean, I've got all I'm still waiting for a few things to come in, but my spending is done. So,
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for feeding the retail machine.
Got to feed the retail machine, of course. Yes. And I know you're in the retail field as well. Is it hellish in your neck of the woods?
No, I'm actually liking this year. But I'm in a much more basic form of retail now, not overcomplicated. I like my job. So that's all cool. And certainly my spirits are actually raised more than they would be normally this time of year, because this is usually the time of year when I start to get really bitter, as opposed to what you're used to, the friendly, adorable form of bitter that you're used to. Because as of 2 p.m. today, we locked a book.
So are you're able to announce the new book?
Well, Divide by Zero will be out sometime between Christmas and New Year's from Fractured Mirror Press. We don't have an exact day, but we are at the finish line, people.
Cool. Nice. And that will be available, I'm sure, on Amazon and everywhere. Cool.
As far as your local, your local Barnes and Noble, they have the ability to get it for you. You probably will have to order it. If you have a really proactive pro horror manager in the building and you know it, ask them. That's what it comes down to. Any book is a street level production. So just scream and shout, try and get your way. But they can definitely order it for you in any case.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, congratulations. That's really cool. A long
road.
Yeah, right on. That's really cool.
Hey, Storm.
Also joining me tonight, he's a giant. He's got a giant heart and a giant body. He's like 8 feet tall. Chris, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Just enjoying a nice, warm, Christmas holiday time here in Texas. last Patreon stream is like 40 outside. This one, it's like 78.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm drinking a nice Moscow Mule from my Batman Forever mug.
Ooh.
Batman Forever mug. Nice. Is that like an official like McDonald's one from back
McDonald's
in the day?
one, yeah.
Wow. That is cool.
That is very cool. I remember when those came out. I like Val Kilmer as Batman. It's not the best movie, but I actually am in the Kilmer camp on that one.
I didn't mind. Kilmer needed to be that kind of Batman because you had Jim Carrey going way over the top, and even Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, he was
out there. Yeah, I mean, so you've got two out there villains. You need a very,
I didn't think
It's a
Burns
shit
would
film.
turn
Come
you
on.
purple. It's not a good movie, but I didn't mind Val Kilmer.
It's a shit film, and Jim Carrey is painful throughout it. Yes,
you
bad.
just don't like
It is
you just don't like
bad.
Nicole Kidman.
Well, that's
Chris
true.
O'Donnell is Robin.
That's
yeah,
right.
You're not making it better, are you?
Chris O'Donnell was Robin.
It's like the pitch meeting from hell. What can we do to destroy this franchise? Well, Jim Carrey, and we'll pay Tommy Lee Jones money to come in and not prepare for the role because he's off the cuff the whole time.
I heard Busta Rhymes was the runner-up for the Riddler.
I would
have dug that so much more.
He could have pulled it off. He could have
because he could have done belted out some rhymes as riddles, right?
But you're forgetting, like Jim Carrey was like the biggest movie star in the world at that point.
He was, but it's bad. I mean, that is a bad performance. It's painfully saccharine.
To be honest with you, I don't remember I remember more of Tommy Lee Jones' performance than I do Jim Carrey's in that movie.
You're intentionally blocking that out.
As I say, you're blocking it out.
I could be, but Michael Sullivan is correct. Nicole Kidman was sexy as hell in that movie.
People.
Sexy as hell.
I mean, it still wasn't as bad as Batman and Robin.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The thing is, Batman and Robin was so divorced from what Burton has done that I give it a lot more leeway. Like that was complete camp nonsense. Wanted to be the '60s TV show. Fine. The middle ground is way more painful. And listen, Schwarzenegger knew what he was doing. It was just like a horrific. He was being asked to do something horrifically embarrassing. And he was all in to do it. Whereas, like, I don't know. I'm not a big Batman fan to begin with, I guess. So, but like, I don't want camp at all. And those two movies, man.
I remember Batman had a Batman credit card.
That was Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Okay. At that point, yeah. I mean, like,
But that makes you wonder, like, why did Bruce even need a line of credit?
I'm sure that Joel Schumacher was like, wouldn't it be funny if Batman had his own credit card? And they're like, sure, let's just do it. Whatever. That's the kind of they just threw everything at the wall.
And the bulge.
With Batman Robin. Yeah, and the bulge and the nipples. Don't forget the bat nipples. Yeah.
That version of Bane was embarrassing. That was rough.
Yeah.
Well, the comic book character is not much removed from that, though.
Chill out.
Fuck those movies. Just even the Burton films haven't really aged as well as we pretend. So
do you like Returns? I would think maybe you'd get a little out of Returns.
I like that they want, like, Burton has this, at that point in his career, had this habit of harking back to Universal and Hammer, and I appreciate what he was going for, but I wish he just would have done what he did with Sleepy Hollow, which is just make that movie. Just screw all the Batman conventions, just make the movie you want to make. And even Sleepy Hollow, there's some goofy stuff in that movie that I feel is like kind of destroys the proceedings, and you have Johnny Depp overacting in places, and yeah.
I mean, Batman Returns is pretty dark.
Yeah.
And I think Danny DeVito is way better in that role as the Penguin than anyone gives him credit for.
Oh yeah.
He's probably the best villain of the franchise, and I know but I mean the four films as that franchise, but I think he's better than Nicholson's Joker by far. Nicholson's Joker is just Jack Nicholson. But Dan DeVito is actually kind of invisible in that role, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that his penguin scared kids back in the day.
As it should have.
Like I remember there was like people were upset that his penguin was scaring their children, and because he's all, I mean, he's a penguin. He's like a human penguin. He's like spewing black bile out of his mouth, and he's nasty. And I mean, that's he's not a fat guy in a top hat with a
monocle
umbrella.
and a K.
Yeah, a monocle and a
top hat.
Yeah. So, and Michelle Pfeiffer was pretty sexy in that as a Catwoman. Yeah, pretty sexy. So, I was a young man when those movies came out, and you get like Kim Basinger, Michelle Pfeiffer, and then Nicole Kidman. And it's just like I like the Batman, but these women are just they're doing something to me. I don't get it. I want to see more of them. Screw Batman. So
I was little, but the 89 Batman in DC, I think in my memory, the biggest crowd for a movie ever. It was just a zoo. My older brother remembers it better, but it was just mobbed.
Yeah, that was a big event growing up. That movie and like T2 were like the event movies of like my adolescence. Definitely. Batman Returns, is it a Christmas movie though?
It is.
Oh, it does take place during Christmas.
I'm more of a Puma Man guy. I don't think Puma Man gets enough credit. And it's got Donald Pleasance.
Dan, I'll take you one better. Manimal is my where I stand.
There you go.
I forgot to do something, and I apologize. I think Nico is still here. I want to show this is the super chat celebration for super chats.
What's up? What's up? What the fuck's up, Denny?
That was in a Denny's.
Wow. I thought it was an AEW event. Weird.
That's next year.
Denny's actually named a menu item after that band. Okay. And that circle pit was vicious. So
that one guy did like 2 double like spin kicks across.
Don't get in that means don't get in his way. Okay, you get out of there. So
was the band called Moons Over My Hammy?
What damn, I don't know what, I can't remember what the band was called, but that's
maybe I am happy that Rock is dead.
That's not rock. That's metal.
That was a Rage Against the Machine ripoff. That's what that was from guys that only knew 2 chords.
Yeah, but
that's all you need.
It's G and A. That's all they had.
That's all you need, man.
But that band was punk rock. Rage Against the Machine aren't. So.
That was not punk rock.
You're not seeing Rage Against the Machine playing in a Denny's, all right? Unless they can book it for $400 a pop tickets.
And they'd spend the whole time talking about how consumerism is bad and all the food should be free.
Exactly. Yeah.
As they sign their contract with Sony.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, Lord. You missed my run before, but I didn't have very kind words to Rage Against the Machine on a stream half an hour ago. Basically.
Go ahead and tell Alex where he can follow you, Lauren. He thinks you rock.
On the Twitter, it is just my name, Lauren Dixon, LORNEDIXON. I should probably change Lawn to it. And on the YouTube, it is Visited by Voices 1, where I discuss all things in the horror sphere that interest me, which is like 2 things.
But it's a great channel.
Thank you.
What are the 2 things?
Mostly I just talk about the Halloween movies, to be honest.
He loves those Halloween movies, that's for sure.
Fuck them too.
He can't wait for the new ones to come out.
Yeah, I'm going to drop whatever streaming service they're on.
I know Lauren is chomping at the bit for this Scream 6 trailer. All he talks about on Twitter is the Scream 6 trailer. Oh, there's a Scream 6 trailer. Scream 6.
You know how much
Scream
hate
6.
I got
Oh.
for saying that I didn't give a crap?
But
Whatever.
you're not supposed to not give a crap. It's Scream 6.
Let me take a stab in the dark. You see what I did there? It's going to be a movie in which 2, maybe 3 killers operate clandestinely and whittle away characters we've never seen before. One legacy character dies. Another one is not in the movie because they wouldn't give her a producer credit and back end on the film. And then in the end, they'll unmask him with a horrible villain speech right out of Inspector Gadget. And then if you think about the film after it's over, you'll realize that none of the reveal of the killers works because it never does. And that'll be Scream 6. I think I'm good. I don't need to watch it.
Damn,
Also,
it's like you were on the set.
Hell, I
Also-
wrote it.
You're also forgetting, Lorne, as well. One of the killers will be 4'11". The other killer will be the size of Giant Chris. And we're
But they're
supposed
the
to
same
not notice the difference.
Yeah.
It's with that you could start if you were writing that movie, you could start with that ending and then work your way back. You know, because
I could write a Scream film in the time this Patreon stream is on the air.
Wow.
Because it's formula. It's all those films are the fucking same. They have all the same, dramatic beats. They all have it's pathetic. But people love it, and I get it. And if you love it, that's cool. I find it pathetic.
I do genuinely hope they mix things up a bit here, because really, I mean, and I liked Scream 5, but that third act is the exact same third act as pretty much every other Scream. It's Scream 1 literally it's taking place in the same house. It's the same, that third act is the same thing. And like I thought the Radio Science guys would do something. They'd throw a twist at us, or maybe they will now. But you're right. It is formula. You expect, so they're bringing back a legacy character. Well, we know they're going to die.
yeah.
Okay, so the last 15 minutes is going to be the big Scooby-Doo unmasking and the motivation, and like just see the unmasking and walk out of the theater. That's all you need. That's it, because you're going to get that big dramatic. Just let the killer win. Let the killer walk away at the end.
So
You know what I mean?
What's really depressing about it, though, is like I'm not a huge fan of the original film either. I think it's fine as a one-off, right? But everything that film represented was undone by making it a franchise.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Absolutely.
So all whatever poignancy the first film has, which honestly is just some clever dialogue, has been completely eroded, and the fans don't get that that at this point they're kind of the villain of the franchise because by keeping it going, right?
I've said that before. Scream should have been a one-off, because all the sequels have been the kinds of slasher movies that the first film kind of, I don't want to say mocked, but kind of poked fun at. That's what the sequels became.
That's kind of what the stab. I think they were aware of that's why they brought the stab thing, because I think they knew that they were just like basically, going down the same route that they were the movies they're making fun of. So I think that's why they brought this whole stab franchise in, because they thought, well, we're going to be extra clever now, and we're gonna look like when we're being ultra meta. But I think genuine horror fans can just see beyond that and just say, come on, you can call it stab, but we know what you're doing.
I'm just,
and it just went to the point of parody where it was stab 2, stab. It just got ridiculous to a point.
And what they're going to do with this trailer is the exact same thing they did with the Scream 5 trailer. They're going to have a bunch of footage in it that has nothing to do with the movie to make you think something's going to happen that's not going to happen. Like, I remember people were freaking out, like, oh my God, Ghostface has a flamethrower now. He's got a silver gold mask or whatever it was. And that was just some kind of BS, had nothing to do with the actual plot, but people were freaking out about, he's got a flamethrower and a gold mask. Oh, and like he had like a sleeveless shirt on, and people like had analyzed that trailer way too much. But that's what this trailer is going to be too.
We'll get it back on track. They just need to combine it with the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh God!
Get Ghostface on some Monster Energy advertisements and gold. You got a $2 billion hit.
I agree.
I just think that it just should be part of the larger Wes Craven unified universe. So there's a kid living in the walls, and they have to escape out to the desert where bad things happen in an RV.
That's where Jamie Kennedy is. He just pops up out of the wall at the end, and boom, 10 more movies.
There you go.
Maybe 20.
And Mitch Pileggi is there, but doesn't know what to do because the movie keeps changing around him.
Just gotta go to the Amish.
The Tennonites.
Oh, is that what they were? Okay, they were. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Deadly Blessing or
Deadly Blessing? Yeah.
Everyone wants to love, and it's hard to.
I like Deadly. I'd like Deadly Blessing.
Ernest Borgnine.
Well, he's also Devil's Reign, right?
Devil's Reign, yes.
Yeah, the Devil's Reign's great. Nico has ordered a mosh pit omelet coffee and screams. Circle pit.
What's up? What's up? What the fuck's up, Denny?
Oh, I love that so much, man.
And of those that work line
to
cooks,
jazz
I
from
would say
now
the burnt
on.
breakfast.
Like I wish they would have panned the camera over, and there's like an older couple in there just trying to eat their pancakes and beans.
What the fuck's up, Denny's?
Like, I should have gone to Waffle House.
Worse things will happen to you at Waffle House.
That's true.
I'd rather take that than the band.
Oh my God.
You might not walk out of Waffle House.
Yeah, but at Waffle House, you'd have seriously the Candlebox reunion. For real. 6 people show up. I'm your biggest fan. You play that song. Can't name it at the moment, but you play it.
Is Silverchair the manager?
Oh, Jesus God. We've gone off the rails here, but I love it. I can't believe I'm going to segue from that into this. We do need to mention that longtime David Lynch composer Angelo Badalamenti passed away, and if you've seen any David Lynch movie, there's a lot of things I'm sure you'll remember, but among those things is most likely going to be the score. He created some tremendous music for David Lynch's work. I mean, the score for Twin Peaks is iconic. Just everything he did was tremendous. So he will be sorely missed. Any love for Angelo Badalamenti among you guys?
Absolute legend. I mean, if you don't know the name, you certainly know the body of work.
Yeah,
sure.
You've heard him for sure.
Yeah, he's up there. I'm a big, Riz Ortolani guy, and he's going to be missed. I know Twin Peaks is unfortunately lost. I think quite a few people recently connected to that show.
Yeah.
Badalamenti is probably underrated in a lot of senses, because imagine being handed a David Lynch film to score. Yeah. You don't want to step on the movie, right? Because it's got to stand by itself. But by the same rate, you need to add the flavor that would suit the work. This isn't like, you handed a Michael Bay film, you pretty much know the boom sound is all you need, right? Maybe
explosions.
Yeah. But Lynch is all about working in places we've never seen before. And you need to go where we've never heard before, or things that we've heard very often, but recontextualized to such a degree that it works with Lynch's vision. that's an amazingly hard thing. I think he was an amazing composer. If you look at what he was doing, he was using simplicity as a weapon. And it really helps. Twin Peaks is a horror show. It really is, but it's a lot more than that as well. He managed to get menace out of 50s nostalgia. And not do it in a way like sometimes they come back or something, whereas like Mick Garris like holds on a varsity jacket for 6 minutes as an attempt to make it feel like it takes place at a certain time. I think that Twin Peaks would not be Twin Peaks without the score. And one of the big criticisms of the third season I heard from so many people was the lack of music, which was an intentional choice. But I think for a lot of people, the missing and not having Badalamente's score really, really was crushing to them.
Yeah. Shout out to Cola's Gay. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. Let's talk about Black Friday hauls. Dan, I know you always go all out with Vinegar Syndrome's Black Friday. How much did you drop this year?
I actually spread it out a little bit. I did drop a couple hundred on Vinegar Syndrome, which I had been building up gift cards for a while. So, I mean, I still spent the 200, but I got a lot from Severin. I got that Bridget LaHaye book that I've been eyeballing. I got I've been a little bit more patient with Vinegar Syndrome, waiting for the sales. So I got stuff I needed, a lot of garbage, Alien Private Eye, stuff like that I hadn't jumped on right away. I finally got the Miami Connection 4K, which is good.
Alien
garbage.
Private Eye? I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Is it so bad it's good? Or
my memory is it's so bad it's good, but
I might have to look that one up then.
Yeah, I got what I was missing on the Billy Blanks movies. I did get Righting Wrongs, the Cynthia Rothrock movie, which some people are under the impression that that's like a low budget 90s Cynthia Rothrock movie. That was actually an 80s Hong Kong action picture that's really, really good. Most people might have seen it under Above the Law. That's what the Dragon Dynasty DVD was here in the US, but Righting Wrongs is actually a gem worth grabbing.
Did you happen to pick up Invisible Maniac?
I did not yet. Todd got that limited slip, which has boobs.
Yeah,
so there's that. I'm gonna probably grab it probably in January. I tried to take advantage of the past stuff that was on sale that I just didn't have yet.
No Evil Laugh?
No, I'll grab it though. I'll get it in January. People have been requesting that one for a very long time.
Oh yeah. I've wanted Evil Laugh for a very long time. This has like a feature length making of documentary on it.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, unbelievable.
Documentary is longer than it took to make the movie.
Probably, yeah, probably. Did you happen to pick this up, Dan?
No, not yet. Believe it or not, I did kind of stick to my guns and didn't get all the new stuff right away. Four Flies on Gray Velvet is essential, so I mean, I am going to get it. But
yeah, it had been a while since I'd last seen it, and yeah, I mean and I think I may have unfortunately turned some people off to it in my review because I said, well, it's not a huge body count. You don't have the elaborate murder set pieces, but you don't really need those in this movie. It's not, I mean, it's still Argento. So, I mean, there's some deaths and there's some blood, but I mean, it's not, like a deep red kind of thing. It's really about suspense, and he does an excellent job of with that.
It's the era where he could do no wrong. So right. I would highly recommend it. High price tag for that one though.
Very high price tag. And Let me finish this point. I love the characters in the movie, aside from the lead guy. The lead guy's kind of flat, but all the other characters are really some of the most colorful characters Argento's ever created. I don't know if those were Argento characters or Luigi Cozzi characters, but either way, they're some of the best characters in any Argento film.
Yeah, I think there'll be a cheaper release option for that one. That's why I was like, no, I always cave and grab it, and I didn't this time.
They're swearing up and down. Severin Films has sworn this is the only release that they're going to do. We've had companies say that in the past, and of course go back on their word. But I think one of the things that's made this one so expensive is the soundtrack, maybe. So I mean, you get this release 6 months later, no slipcase, no soundtrack.
Yeah,
for $30, 35, maybe, probably 40 in that neighborhood. People will jump on it then. But
they licensed it. They're not going to leave money on the table. It might be later next year, possibly, but I think you'll see it in 2023.
Most likely. Yeah. I agree. Anybody else do any spending on Black Friday for physical media?
Well, I don't usually partake in physical media because I just can't. I've got no space. But I did invest in the Ghostwatch Blu-ray.
Oh, okay.
I got
that was an essential one. I seen. It's the whole 30th anniversary. So watching you guys, I know Christian put a video. I think Christian put a video out. I know we did actually. I know Piz, you revisited it, but yeah, I mean, like I say, like your original reaction video from a few years ago is kind of one that's like I've watched a few times because, like I've mentioned it in a stream. I don't know if you ever saw the stream, like a stream I did myself, but I distinctly remember the day when you were introduced to the film. I think Lorne mentioned it in a Sausage Factory live stream for like essential Halloween watchers, and you'd not seen the film. And I think Jay had seen it, and then Lorne was talking about the movie, and that piqued your interest. And you immediately, after Lorne's recommendation, I think you immediately went and watched it. And then a couple of weeks down the line, there was your video reaction, and you were just gushing over it. And I was just like, oh yeah, because I was like, people get the film, because this is like a time when, I watched the film. Well, it wasn't a film to me back in '92. It was just a TV show. But for a lot of people in the UK, it just had such a massive impact, and like to see people from across the pond, to see it have a similar impact, even though you didn't see it live. It's good to know that it resonates in a way that, because it's one of those, it could come across as hokey in a way if you don't really know, if you're not really aware of what it's trying to do, it can come across in that sort of way. But if you can take yourself back to a time before the internet and before social media, and just it may, for a modern audience, for a bunch of kids now, they may look and go, this is stupid. But for people our age, this was totally believable in 1992. Totally believable, because I know, because I was there, and I was like saying to my mum and dad, is this real? and it took like 45 to 50 minutes to think, yeah, I don't think this is real. But we didn't have our smartphones on us to Google, you just totally at the hands of the BBC, basically.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, great memories.
It was that perfect time, pre-internet, pre people were less jaded, I guess, less cynical, and maybe a little more trusting. And I mean, just there's two parts to that movie, and I consider it a movie because the movie itself, which I think is expertly done, but also the controversy that it created, I think is absolutely fascinating. And You know, there's areas of the controversy that the documentary on that release didn't go into, and I guess I understand why they didn't go into it, because, you know, one guy who was disturbed took his own life because he lived in a home that had loud pipes, and he thought pipes was, you know, coming to get him. Or that's at least what the news in the UK reported. And you know, kids who were traumatized, PTSD, just all kinds of, you know, wild stuff. So, but it is a brilliant piece of fiction, and yeah, I really can't say enough good things about it. I love it to death, and that's a great release. So, awesome stuff.
I have to ask: I've seen Ghostwatch, and you're right. For 30 years ago, that was before its time.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever that was released, what was all the controversy about that? Is that exaggerated now, or is that actually like true to fact that was how that was?
No, there's literally within a day or two, they had to have. There was like a show that kind of dealt with like the TV that had occurred that week, and they discussed it, you know, and they had, you know, they had like a panel on who discussed the shows, and they literally dedicated like a half an hour, 45-minute show to Ghostwatch because of the thing. The thing with Ghostwatch is they put on screen like a phone number for you to ring up, but it was never really a proper phone number, so people were just getting through to like an engaged line, and from what I recall, it was like everybody was freaking out because like nobody could get through because they just thought that just like the phone lines were jammed because everybody was freaking out, and I kind of just sent it into like a spiral of, you know, it just like layer upon layer upon layer, and yeah, and literally there was. You know, I think like Piz, I think you've mentioned before, you know, a guy literally like he did like shit his pants, just like
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, the whole the fallout. It was front page news. Maybe not the very next day, but it's one of those. It kind of over the next few days, you know, as things fall into place, you know, it became a thing. But yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, the controversy over that, it was never repeated on the BBC ever again, and I think it literally wasn't it? Was it like some sort of like some DVD was released in like the 2000s?
They buried it, and then eventually, because, you know, there was like this upswell of, you know, tape trading and stuff like that, and it had created this cult following that they put out a DVD.
Man, that's pretty impressive.
And it could never happen today. I mean,
well,
you know, I mean,
done differently today, right?
It would have to be done. Well, and people, I think there's still some people out there on TikTok who think Megan is Missing is real, but
they exist.
I think if you just dumped a video of a haunting with no context onto YouTube, and it was done really well, and just let it sit and let it organically get out to people, you could probably do it. You couldn't do exactly a news broadcast again and get away with it. But then again, you know, it's kind of true that like every time one of these films, whether Blair Witch or Cannibal Holocaust or Ghostwatch, anything that really got to people to the point where they thought it might be real, it was always different. The presentation was always appropriate for the time. What I think is really remarkable about Ghostwatch that no one discusses is that it got around all the problems of low budget filmmaking, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
The brilliance is, yeah, some of the actors are not great, but they're not being asked to act, right? It's very clear where there's improv moments. There's very clear that the newsreaders are reading it like it's news, you know? So it doesn't have any of those dramatic pitfalls that low budget filming usually like gets sunk by. And that's what this is. It's basically a very low budget film. But I think there's certain things like if you don't see where Paranormal Activity got their only scare from, well, it's Ghostwatch wholesale. Except Ghostwatch did it 7 times better. Or for that matter, the Insidious, the demon in the bedroom. That's the first appearance of Pipes.
The genius about Ghostwatch as well is like literally, I've mentioned this before, but Michael Parkinson, who was like the host, the middle-aged, respectable presenter, he is or was, he's still alive as well. He's like 90. He was our Jay Leno. He was our David Letterman. So it's like, take that premise, take it to the States, and have David Letterman as the presenter. Are you going to question that?
I've heard that he added the credibility to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had real on-air BBC personalities and people who you knew playing themselves, on this this ghost hunt or whatever. And I mean, it just And
having Craig Charles in it, and this might not play for many Americans who might not know who he is, but because among others, but because he's kind of making fun of the ordeal and he was known for his comedy, that had to be disorienting as well, because that makes it seem even more real. But I think it's a tremendously effective film in its own right as a film. I encountered it knowing it was fake, but in tape trading circles before it was legally available. And the quality was worse, and somehow that just added to the allure of it. It was transferred from PAL. The voices by the end of it didn't quite sync. But if you know that film, that's kind of right in context. I did buy the DVD when it came out. The DVD is not like it's always been questionably, it's like a gray market at best, even though it was available everywhere. And it looks fine. It's a good presentation. The new blue is pretty beautiful though. Not that what it does is it doesn't add any clarity to the image, but what it does is it stabilizes it. It makes for a much smoother viewing than it ever has had before, because literally, a PAL television in 1992, or it was not gonna give you that kind of experience.
Right.
Oh, and the house from Ghostwatch is basically the Conjuring 2. It's the same house.
Oh yeah.
Except it feels more real than The Conjuring 2.
Yeah, definitely.
Any day of the week.
I'm not a big fan of that film. So.
Either am I. That's a piece of crap.
I like it okay. I like the first 2 Conjuring movies okay. That last one they did was pretty...
The last one's terrible.
The first film works the first one works until the exorcism scene at the end, which then it just becomes blatty ripoff territory, and it sucks. The second film I have problems because the plot doesn't work when you actually pull it apart. It actually doesn't work. And that's strange too, because the Enfield haunting is actually a really compelling story that if they stuck to, they would have been a lot better off. The third film is bad news. The first and third Annabelle films are bad movies. The Nun is one of the worst things I've ever freaking seen in a theater.
I'm so shocked. I was shocked.
La Llorona is like the flattest, most boring piece of crap made. It's a franchise that I don't understand how it maintains any popularity.
Maybe in the fourth it'll be better.
It's a whole universe. Yeah, I watched that Nun movie and my jaw was on the floor the whole time. Like, God, this is awful, awful. But it's got its fans. It made a hell of a lot of money at the box office. And aren't they doing a 4th Conjuring? Haven't they already announced that?
Yeah.
So I mean, good for Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. They're breaking in the dough. Big shout out to our buddy the Daily Ghost, who can't be with us tonight. Thank you for the $20 super chat, sir. And let's not forget Angelo scored Christmas Vacation. The same guy who scored Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway, Twin Peaks, also scored National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Merry Christmas, Piz and Jeremy. Sorry I couldn't make it tonight. Hope you're doing well, Ghost. We miss you tonight, man. But this hot plate is for you.
What's What's up? What's up? What the fuck's up, Denny? Son of a bitch!
God, that is so good.
How many people in that quote unquote circle pit, which doesn't look like a circle pit at all to me, do you think were related directly or indirectly to members of the band? Because I think they're all cousins and a couple uncles.
I bet. Listen, I bet that
fellow
band.
classmates.
No, this was not where they were going to go. Would be with the cool kids.
Oh no, it's not the cool kids. It's the other classmates.
It's whoever was. Oh, it's the band that played before them.
Oh, there you go.
You can't say opener because that implies, a following.
They seem to be having a good time. They seem to be into it. I mean that. I'm not getting in that pit. Glasses broken, nose broken.
No, that was candy ass.
Cauliflower ear. I'm old, man.
Where did you grow up? Did you not live your youth properly?
Listen, I'm old now. I couldn't survive that pit.
I got cut with an X-Acto blade at a mystery show when I was that age, for real. Back when things were really dangerous and they didn't pick you up when you fell. They stomped on you.
How badly cut were you?
I still have a very faint scar on my arm from it.
Who
I didn't even know. Oh, he was tripping off his ass and he just swinging an X-Acto blade around.
Jersey.
Jesus Christ.
That was New York. It wasn't technically Jersey.
Close enough.
Yeah, pretty much. In Jersey, there would have been 2 X-Acto blades.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna ask where was security, but I mean that's kind of a dumb question.
Oh, they tackled them eventually.
Oh, okay.
You gotta finish your beer first.
After 4 or 5 of us were bleeding. I didn't even know I was hit though. I didn't know he had a blade in his hand because you couldn't see it. I knew he hit me, but I thought he hit me.
Yeah.
And then like a moment later, I'm like, oh fuck, what's going on with my arm?
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
Could you imagine like security's like, hey, there's somebody out there with an X-Acto blade. I'll get it in a minute. Let me finish this. Yeah.
No, well, they have enough other things going on without this asshole out there.
There's probably like
razor.
there's probably actual crimes being committed there that they're,
Absolutely.
So
it could have very easily been like the night that Al Jurgensen got murdered on stage because they were worried about the guy with the blade.
Oh God, Lord have mercy. I was on Twitter the other day and I noticed all these tweets from people support Shudder, save Shudder. So Shudder is the best thing ever. We got to support Shudder. And I'm going like, what the hell's going on here? What's wrong with Shudder? Is Shudder going away? Is Shudder in trouble? What's the deal? And the best info that I could ascertain was that, and correct me here if I'm wrong with any of this, their parent company is AMC, correct?
Yep.
AMC is not having a great time financially at the moment, and so they have asked, they've forced some downsizing on Shudder's part. They've laid off a bunch of people, of course, right before the holidays, which is the best time to get laid off. And so that's kind of, people are concerned that Shudder is either going to go bye-bye or their monthly price is going to go way up, which I mean, they're like, what, $6 a month? Are they still $6 a month?
$5.99. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that it hasn't gone up to at least double that by now, to be honest. Because I mean, look at Netflix and all these other platforms; they're constantly raising the prices. For them to still be $6 and provide as much content as they do, and a lot of original content, is pretty stunning. But
it's a hell of a value. I'll still, if they raise it to $10 or $12, I'll still pay it. I watch more on that than Netflix.
Even at $10 or $12, it's still a good value.
Yeah.
But so a lot of people are concerned that something's going to happen to Shudder, that Shudder may shutter. Is that something that we should be in fear of? And I mean, how is that going to how is that going to affect our ability to access, not just the mainstream stuff, but they've got a lot of, Shudder's got a lot of more obscure titles and a lot of really good movies that, you're probably not going to find on Netflix, or you'd have to dig on Netflix to find. So I don't
Hey,
know.
let me
What do you
ask
guys-
y'all: is AMC under Warner Brothers, or is that totally separate?
It's separate.
Okay.
So I was going to say, as before Lauren goes on, I was going to say, as a stockholder of AMC, I can tell you it ain't doing good.
So it depends on what you want out of Shudder, whether you should be concerned or not. I don't think it is survivable long term, but there might be in the short term. We might get 6 months, 8 months of a version of Shudder going forward, but it's going to lose a lot of the things that for a lot of people was the whole selling point. The ability to provide exclusive content. They buy those films at market. They don't make them. That people need to understand that. So they go to TIFF and they'll buy a bunch of independent horror films from around the world, sometimes as a package, sometimes individually, and they'll dole them out through the year so that they have exclusivity, right? So an example would be Saloon, the best film of the year. So that's probably going away because you need to be able to afford to do that. Then you have your ticket item releases. So this is your Carpenter films. This is everything that Scream Factory has licensed to them, for instance, because Scream Factory only go for titles that actually sell, right?
Right.
Those are going to have to get scaled back big time. And the reason there is that the share per click is going to be less profitable for the rights holder, the distribution rights holders, as opposed to the rights owners of the film itself, than simply going to, Amazon and selling the movie outright or putting it as a part of Prime. Whereas they're going to do just as well, but they're going to hit a larger, more mainstream audience with titles that people actually search for. Things like the Vinegar Syndrome titles, by and large, will safely stay. Because honestly, it's a niche audience and no one is going on Prime looking for most of those titles. The older titles, the legacy titles, will probably move on, not immediately. But if you have enjoyed being able to go back and watch Hammer films or the Amicus titles that are on in particular, it sounds like I'm mentioning just British stuff, but Mike's here, so it all works. That stuff's going to find different homes. Because all that stuff has rights holders that also have streaming platforms that are not going to see an upside to Shudder anymore. So Shudder will probably remain for a while, but what's available on it is going to start dwindling very quickly as new contracts have to come up. And ultimately, what it comes down to is if they raise their price and reduce the content, there's only one way that ends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I hate this so much because I was one of the earliest converts, and I was one of the first to be screaming to people that they needed to support this. And I love Shudder to death. I think everyone knows I love obscure and foreign. That's where my love at the moment is. They've done wonders. So has Netflix, if you know how to search for it. Don't get me wrong. But damn it. There was certain curation that was happening there that is kind of priceless, and we're losing it.
You'll see, and Shudder will promote a Saloon or a Moloch or
it's also into my top 5 movies of the year, and it's theirs exclusively. So
yeah. Whereas if it's on Netflix, I mean, you've got to dig for it. It's not going to be promoted, and therefore a lot of people aren't going to see it. So that's one thing I do love about Shudder is that, they promote these movies and they go out of their way to get them. And again, the price point is just, is ridiculous, but it's,
I mean, that's a cup of coffee every month.
Yeah.
get that. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, Nico commented streaming is imploding based on intel from his friends in the business. We were talking about Disney Plus not long ago, and Disney is having financial issues because Disney Plus is not returning their investment. This is Disney we're talking about.
That can die, but not Shudder.
Is the issue, because Lauren said it, everybody's got their own streaming platform. Is it the issue of there's just too many?
Yeah, definitely.
Or is the issue that, well, I mean, I guess the issue is that
because what you tweeted out about Shudder, right? And like, I didn't know what you were talking about, so I tried to do a bit of digging, and especially when you posted about the Patron stream talking about Shudder's problems, and I googled it, and I couldn't really find any information. Went into Twitter, still wasn't really that much information, and that really sums up Shudder's issues. Is like, Shudder has got an issue where they're going to have to lay off staff, but it's barely making a mention online because it's Shudder, it's not Netflix or Amazon Prime. So if that kind of like sums up Shudder's problems, it's like a lot of people don't even know that Shudder even exists. It isn't. Horror is not a niche market, but a horror specific streaming service is quite niche, and there is a cost. I mean, certainly in the UK, across the Western world, across probably the whole world, there's a cost of living crisis. People are having to streamline. Mums and dads with the 2 kids, boy and a girl, 3 boys, 2 girls, whatever you got. They got Disney Plus, they've got Frozen permanently on streaming. They've got the MCU for the boys. People have got Netflix for Stranger Things because Stranger Things never went to physical media. So people who are up, Stranger Things is massive. It does like 1 billion hours of views this year alone. If it's not going to go into physical media, and they'd be stupid to do that, really, if they keep it exclusive to streaming, you're going to keep a lot of people locked into Netflix because there's a lot of Stranger Things diehards who will never get rid of Netflix just because of Stranger Things. They took a hit when they lost The Office because The Office is a 15-year-old show, but it was doing massive numbers because normies watch The Office, normies watch Stranger Things, and it's normies who keep these streaming services afloat. Normies do not keep streaming services, like, sad to say, but streaming services like Shudder, who are pushing movies like Moloch, which is a great movie, by the way.
It is.
Normies are not keeping these streaming services afloat, and it's sad, but it's just the way of the world.
Yeah, I want to kind of echo on that. I think it's also the retail business. At one time you had 10 places where you would shop at, and now it's limited to like Amazon, Walmart, or these big chains. This is a weird example, but the hardware business. Now you go to Lowe's or Home Depot. You don't go to your local hardware store. So at one time, you might have had all these other streaming services, and now they're kind of being limited down, funneled to like 3 or 4. Those are the main ones that you now go to. It's really a shame because it's cutting out all those ones you really that have those unique movies like that. But I kind of feel like that's what it's funneling them down, because even Netflix is aren't they coming out with the ad-based one as well?
Yeah. There's and I think
Disney Plus is coming out with an ad-based one too.
There's another one that's already got ad-based one. I think it's maybe HBO Max or one of the other ones already has that option of.
Peacock has ads on it sometimes.
That's it. Peacock. Yes, that's it. Yep.
So it's like all of them are making changes, and some of them are being dropped, or because I still remember whenever DC came out with one, and you had access to all their comic books, and obviously they're under Warner Brothers, so that got into HBO Max. But it did seem like at one time everybody had their own streaming service, and now that's kind of being funneled down.
Yeah.
So if I give a quick analogy, what it feels like, it's Shudder. Everybody's loving Shudder. So it's Shudder is the art house student, but dad has gone bankrupt. I just looked at it real fast. AMC stock started the year at $26 a share. It is now $5 a share. So when Daddy goes bankrupt, you can't afford to support anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Permission, Piz, to go on an angry rant?
Of course.
Why do you need permission? Just do it.
Because this is going to be painful. So I guess the real question here, right, is why? Why is Shudder in this place? Well, motherfuckers, it's us. I'm sorry. You know what? I'd like to say that Dan, you've done your job, and I've done my job, and Piz, you've highlighted some obscure films that are on Shudder, and you know what? We all have. But you know what? The average person is still clicking on a motherfucking Halloween Ends video, and they're still talking about the big fucking franchises, ignoring everything else. Halloween Ends isn't on fucking Shudder. Okay? Shudder is curated for horror fans who want to be adventurous and bold, and there aren't enough of us. So every time we go back and talk about the same bullshit fucking issues, every time we are broken records, we set up a situation where the next Shudder will fail as well. Because the reality is, unless we expand our interest past a few IPs, then only a few IPs can really survive in the marketplace. We're to blame. It's not COVID. It's not AMC theaters. It's us. We have to do better as fans and support, and truly support, the bold, beautiful things that are coming out now, as well as our glorious past. You know, if you are one of these people who won't watch anything that's more than 10 years old, just please go die. Because you're hurting us. There's too much great stuff. Ghostwatch is a better film than anything probably that most people will see for the last 5 years. That's a little bit of hyperbole, but not much.
Amen.
But to get the average person to actually watch it, sorry. So yeah, I mean, why is Shudder dying, and why is it going to be harder for all of us to find things to fill up our to fulfill our appetites for new and different? Well, because there are just more people that want to see the Michael Myers mask, and hey, I don't care if it's a good film or not, as long as it has Leatherface in it, I'm cool. Sorry, you're the worst thing for the genre. You're what's killing it. Horror's never been more popular than it's been at this moment, but we've lost the plot and we're losing the future. And this is just emblematic of it. AMC needed to find fat to trim. This was the easiest fat to justify trimming. Thank you.
You know, there was this year was a good year for horror. Horror is hot.
Awesome year.
And what I think is great about it is, look at the horror movies that people are really talking about from this year. Look at the box office. Nope was number one. As far as horror movies are concerned, Smile was number two.
Yeah, okay.
Look at all the money that Terrifier 2's brought in. Look at all the money that Barbarian brought in. These are, Terrifier 2 is a sequel, of course, but we're not talking. It's not the 12th Terrifier. We're talking about, original, more or less. Some were more original than others, but non-legacy movies that outgrossed. In the case of Smile, Halloween Ends, Scream, The Black Phone, which that was an original, but that had Stephen King behind it. It had names behind it, so that gives me hope that no disrespect to Halloween fans or to the franchises, because there's room for them. There's room for our legacy titles, and there's room for our things we loved from the past. But I really like the fact that a movie like Smile, even though it's an okay movie, not great, it's okay. It did really well at the box office.
Yeah.
Barbarian has done really well at the box office. Terrifier 2 is Spock talking about investments. I wish I would have invested some money in Terrifier 2. I mean, that cost what, 300,000, 400,000? It's grossed
200,000.
200,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
It's grossed what, 10 million, 12 million at the box office at this point, maybe more.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. And
I feel though like that's what works for the horror genre is it doesn't take, and I don't know how to make a movie, but you can make a good movie under $10 million in the horror genre, and if it grosses 50 million, that's amazing. That's a great profit, and I feel like now they've kind of not horror, but the studios are always about that big blockbuster. That's why that stuff goes straight to streaming now, because it's like, well, it doesn't really cost a lot to make this movie, so we'll just put it here. But I feel like that's what helps the horror genre is it doesn't cost a lot of money to make a slasher movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ali Hamoud, thank you for the $2 super chat. He says, what will happen to Joe Bob? He's the greatest. Joe Bob's going to be all right. Joe Bob is, Joe Bob's going to be all right. Don't worry about Joe Bob.
I think she might have some contacts, get him into another business. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there, but yeah. I think he'll be okay, hopefully.
Joe Bob will be okay, I think. Yeah.
Darcy, the mail girl.
Yeah, what's going to happen to Darcy?
Well, if Joe Bob's around, that means that Darcy is running the business, so you're fine.
So, I mean, I don't know. I am concerned for Shudder. Maybe I don't know. Maybe another company will come along and see the value in them and snatch them up.
That's maybe what I'm hoping, because there's money to be made. On Shudder, or I'd feel bad, but maybe somebody will pick up Screambox. They'll start getting some bigger titles. Horror is bankable, and I think it's going to be more bankable than ever because we have stuff like Black Adam, that Rock movie, where people think that movie was a success. It didn't make any money. Yeah, it didn't make money. And it's the highest grossing Rock movie ever. That should tell you something about what they're spending on these films.
Yeah, just the marketing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's getting worse and worse. I know there's a lot of Marvel lovers out there, and I get it. I'm not one of them, but there's just so much of it now. The returns. I don't know. I'm very curious, not that it's a superhero property, to see what Avatar 2 does. Very curious. I've had a debate with Pugs at Flesh Wound Features, and he thinks it's going to just kill the box office. It's going to be the most successful movie of all time, but I don't know.
Not a chance. There's not a chance. I'll make a prediction right now. Okay. Biggest second week drop off in cinema history is coming, and it's called Avatar 2. It'll open big. You'll get your headlines where everyone gets excited, and second week will crater. Remember, Black Adam was a great example of this. First weekend, people said, "Look, it's doing well. Look at that. That film is going to lose money."
100 million, I heard.
Yeah,
roughly.
But it opened well, but it had no legs whatsoever. Avatar's going to be even worse because no one really cares about Avatar.
Yeah.
So once the press of hey, this is coming is out of the way, that second weekend is going to be painful. And yeah, there's not a lot out in December as counter programming, but you know what? Have you been paying attention to the last 2 months? People just don't go if there's not something anymore. It's not like they pick something else. So, and there's not going to be return business because this thing will be streaming in 2 months. So no one's going back to the theaters for a second helping.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody who was really excited about it. I was like, can you name the aliens in that? Can you name the lead character name, any character name? And it's not. It's like that was a thing for maybe a year, maybe two. But I don't see kids with Avatar bed sheets and lunch boxes. That never happened for it. So I don't know. I'm very curious. I'm not rooting for anything to fail nowadays, but
I am in this case. Hey Jim, how are you?
Christian's joined us. What's up, Christian? How you doing, man?
Hey man, what's going on?
What you been into?
I just finished eating some supper and I was gonna run outside, but it's got some bad weather, so I'm just cruising on my bike in the house. So I figured I'd jump on for a second.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, thanks for hopping on. How's the holidays going in the Christian Hannah Horror House?
It's going good, dude. We're festive. We got wax melts melting everywhere, so it just smells like a gingerbread house.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. Got all your Christmas shopping in?
We did, man. We actually finished the day before yesterday, so it feels good. You know, got it all done.
Cool.
Yep.
You seen any good movies lately?
I'm trying to remember. Sydney, have we watched anything lately? Oh, we watched a terrible movie last night. We watched Home Alone 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. And apparently there's a fourth one that Sydney says even worse than that. So I don't think we'll be watching that.
Made for television fourth film, yes.
I'd actually forgotten that they had continued that series beyond Home Alone 2.
Yeah, I never really paid attention. But it really goes to show that Home Alone was like such a good ensemble. You know, it's not just Macaulay. He's great, but like really it's the whole cast of that movie were great, especially the second one with Tim Curry and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that third one, man, it was really bad. What's her face was in it? That was Scarlett Johansson. She was like, I don't know, 13 or 14.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that.
It was bad, man. It's
You
pretty
don't think it
bad.
was French Stewart who harpooned it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Any love for the Problem Child movies?
No.
Like the first two.
I like it. They did more beyond the first two in Problem Child movies too.
Yeah, there was a random TV movie, I believe. Yeah, the third.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. John Ritter. I mean, some good talent on those.
Yeah, I like the first two movies a lot. Yeah, they're fun movies.
Oh yeah, I got Pulp Fiction on 4K the other day.
Oh, okay. All
and
right.
I'd only seen Pulp Fiction once, and it's not my favorite. I think Kill Bill's my favorite movie.
same.
Reservoir Dogs, I had never seen, and I got that on 4K, and I liked it, but it's certainly not my favorite. But Pulp Fiction, Samuel L. Jackson, he's so good in that movie, man.
Mm-hmm.
When he's like, "What kind of burger is that? A big Kahuna burger?" It's just so funny how
It's a
he's toying
tasty
with
burger.
these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
My favorite Samuel L. Jackson performance is in Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown.
Yeah, he's so good in He's scary in Jackie Brown.
Yeah. He's so good. Like Samuel. There's really nobody else like Samuel L. Jackson or exactly like him. He's one of a kind, man. He's great.
There's a Jamie Foxx. I saw an interview with Jamie Foxx where he was talking about Django and how Leo DiCaprio didn't want to say the N-word in front of Jamie and Samuel L. Jackson because he has such respect for them. And Samuel L. Jackson was like, "MFA, come here, MFA, come here." Just like laid down the law to him. Like, it's a movie. You know what I mean? I'm not really this character. You're not really that character. Say the word. It's not like the first time I've ever heard it or been called it. Say it. You know,
Right.
You're acting. And so they said the next day he came in. He didn't say anything to anybody. Didn't acknowledge Jamie or Sam Jackson as friends.
And
They shot the thing and he freaking nailed it.
He went for it. Yeah.
Yeah, just went for it.
His speech to Bruce Dern at Hateful Eight
Oh,
is
good.
I could not stop laughing through the rest of that movie. That was so cool.
I don't know if any of you guys. I was talking to Sydney about this last night. So when Tarantino was on Joe Rogan, Joe was like, so is it true you basically saved John Travolta's career? And he basically said, I guess I kind of did because I was a big fan of him. Do you remember when he fell off? Like, what year in the 80s was it? Did he have a bomb and then he bombed again? And then, because I just remember Saturday Night Fever, obviously Staying Alive was really big. And I think Stallone directed that. But like, do you guys remember what was the turning point for him in the 80s where he started to decline pretty bad?
Look who's talking to.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The problem is he
yeah.
started making kids films.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to come back from that. You almost have to overcorrect, which is what he did, actually.
Right.
You have to make something that you would never let your children watch. And
he did some bombs. Like I love Blowout, the Brian De Palma film, but that one did not do well at the box office.
Really?
well,
Yeah.
did you ever see the marketing campaign for that film? I wonder why.
I can imagine that one being a little difficult to market. But I love that
Not
movie.
surprising. De Palma in his prime, man.
So Nancy Allen.
Nancy Allen.
We don't talk about Brian De Palma as a horror director, but why don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that career.
And what's he doing now? Where is Brian? I know he did a couple of movies that kind of didn't weren't so good, and
he's doing old.
Oh yeah,
that's what he's doing.
I'll be counting money.
Yeah.
But I mean, that from Carrie all the way to like The Untouchables. What did he do after The Untouchables? I mean, many years.
He did Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. I forgot
Mission
about
Impossible.
Which is a way better film than its reputation. It's much more subtle, but it has some of the best suspense sequences ever filmed in it.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Did he do Carlito's Way?
He did.
Oh,
which is
Carlito's Way.
That's phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that one didn't do well at the box office either, I don't think.
It didn't. It made money. It didn't make a lot of money. It certainly didn't. It was not Scarface 2, which is pretty much what they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Al Pacino should never have played him, according to. Did you hear what who's the guy who's in Summer of Sam? Oh, he's in
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, he was complaining that Al Pacino got the role despite not being. It's just like. Oh.
Well, I hope John Leguizamo enjoys only playing a certain type of character himself.
Yeah, he got the role because he's Al freaking Pacino.
Yeah.
But what are we talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dress to Kill is a good De Palma movie.
Dress to Kill is fantastic. One of my favorite performances in Carlito's Way is Viggo Mortensen. He's only in it for a very short time. White guy playing a Cuban, but he nails that Cuban accent so perfectly.
He does.
He calls Al Pacino a sea sucker, and he nails that Cuban inflection on "sucker." That's just so perfect. Brilliant. It's incredible.
Is Viggo Mortensen American or is he like Scandinavian? I've never really.
Let's look up Viggo here. That's an interesting name to be. Let's see, where's Viggo from?
I always assumed he was like Danish.
No, he was born in Watertown, New York.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Danish, Dutch ancestry, I believe, but yeah, he's American.
That's
Viggo.
crazy.
Great actor.
Did any of y'all see Daylight? He was in Daylight. He has the funniest role in Daylight, that Stallone movie where the bridge, like the Jersey, New York bridge, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get us out of here," and he dies in an amazing way where he gets just like the roof or this tunnel just collapses right on him, and he was supposed to be like this like multi-billionaire dude that was like, "Oh, I'm fearless." It was funny. I love Viggo.
Daylight is a very underrated Stallone movie. That's a great, simple action movie. That's not your typical action movie, I should say.
You're like a disaster film.
Yeah, that would be a good way to put it.
And that movie came out at a good time for Stallone because he had a bunch of bombs. He'd done a bunch of bombs there in the 90s. People love Demolition Man now, but it wasn't like a gigantic hit back in the day.
Oh,
yeah,
it was a punchline back in the day.
Yeah.
I think Daylight also had Danielle Harris in it.
It did. She did. Yeah.
Oh,
Viggo, Danielle, his son Sage Stallone was.
Yeah,
in that.
Sage. That's right. Yeah.
Dude,
Wasn't Cliffhanger a big hit though? Cliffhanger was.
Cliffhanger was a hit.
It really saved his life after doing Rocky V, which got panned. Then he did Oscar, which is the most bizarre movie. It's weird even for John Landis, but the cast is insane in Oscar. I mean, anybody who was anybody in the early '90s was an Oscar, And then Stop Where My Mom Was.
Yeah.
But so Cliffhanger was a literal and figurative movie. Like he was literally hanging off of a cliff career wise. I love Cliffhanger. That's a great movie.
That was Rennie Harlan when he knew what he was doing. Yeah.
Yeah, John Lithgow is your heavy in that.
John Lithgow, yeah. Damn.
Like he's tough to beat.
Does anybody like Detox? It's kind of like his slasher film,
Well, is it called ICU as well? Because if that's the case, that's what I'm thinking of.
It had a well, no, Jitter Joint was the novel it was based on. Surprisingly, that was based on a novel. But yeah. I remember that movie. I don't remember all that much about it, but it was kind of like Stallone in a slasher. Yeah,
basically. Yeah,
directed by the guy who directed I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
Doesn't he gorilla press somebody onto a thing of spikes
I think so.
and does it again? It's
Yeah.
The problem is, of course, Nighthawks is always going to overshadow it.
Nighthawks, yeah.
Cut me badass.
By about 1,000,000%.
Why does nobody talk about Nighthawks? I guess
I fucking love Nighthawks.
Rutger Hauer, god damn it.
Billy D. Williams. It's because they talk about Cobra, which is like the 80s, the more 80s version of it. Because it's whatever. It was this Beverly Hills Cop.
Is a dangerous fucking movie.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I agree. I think it has the best ending of all, one of the best endings of all time. I love Nighthawks, but it's like it's not as accessible for the the horror fans. They go to Cobra instead of Nighthawks. And I always try to say, Nighthawks is the real effing deal, man. Great cast. I love Nighthawks.
I think Cobra's had a better poster.
I mean, it's a big blood red poster with a dude with sunglasses on and a gun.
Yeah.
Well, I think Cobra too. I mean, there was a time Cobra was on television 3 times a week, and Nighthawks was maybe on Cinemax at 2:00 in the morning. So, yeah.
I love that. Was Nighthawks in did it take place in Chicago or New York? It was early 80s. I love that aesthetic. Seedy New York. I think it was New York. If it wasn't, it was.
I believe New York.
Dude, early 80s seedy New York is my favorite stuff ever. I think that's why I'm a big Basket Case fan. I just love seedy New York City.
I've always said, like, for me, it's like late 70s, early 80s. So it's New York, Philly, Chicago. I love that shit, man.
Just dead bodies on the street and no one gives a damn because it's normal.
Christian, when you make it up here, we'll take a ride through Patterson. You'll be happy. You don't get the skyscrapers, but you get everything else.
Okay.
Probably more so.
I want
They just moved 42nd Street from 42nd Street to Patterson, New Jersey.
Or
minus the theater.
Now, if you really want an experience, though, because that's one thing, we can move over to Irvington for a little bit, but even I have my limits.
Yeah.
You don't stop at red lights in Irvington.
There aren't red lights. They broke them and stole them. I actually saw in Irvington is the only place I've ever seen 2 people walking down the street carrying a mailbox.
Oh, Jesus.
And they weren't postal employees.
I have a trivia question for y'all.
Sure.
This might be a softball. In Demolition Man, what franchise survived the capitalism? What fast food franchise?
Taco Bell.
It was the fast food wars.
Exactly. And you know why? They banned meat.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't know that.
But it was supposed to be Pizza Hut in the original screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza
Hut said, no. How about no?
Had like the Burger King executed in Town Square. It was dark times.
Yeah.
That was a time though, whenever like a big movie would associate they would get marketing from like a fast food restaurant. You know,
Yeah.
you would collect Giant Chris had that cup from Batman Forever. You know, you would go to McDonald's and there was 4 different cups for, you know, Indiana Jones or something like that, and you would collect those cups.
Hey, Cane's right now has their National Lampoon Christmas Vacation. I've been asking them. I'll go to Cane's and I'll say, "Okay, can I have the Chevy Chase standee that's attached to the pole outside of the building?" And they're like, "Just check again after Christmas. We'll give it to you. Check again," because I want it. I want it.
You know, the funniest product placement thing ever was Oliver Stone made Natural Born Killers fairly under the radar. No one really knew what it was. And so he went to Coca-Cola and said, "I want the polar bear commercial." And they thought it would be just like incidentally in the background of a scene on a television screen. They didn't realize it would be a flash cut to the polar bears, then a flash cut to a woman getting her nipples licked, then to blood spraying across the screen, then back to the story.
Yeah.
And they were pissed. Like Coca-Cola were actually considering legal action against Oliver Stone.
But I mean, it's Oliver Stone. The movie's called Natural Born Killers.
but you got to remember the time period. He just come off JFK, and then there was Born on the 4th of July before that. These are like films that are taken serious. Might have been some controversy, but no one was thinking Natural Born Killers was happening.
No.
And if anything, they thought, okay, it might be a gritty crime film like Reservoir Dogs because it's kind of based on a Tarantino screenplay. But no one was ready for what that movie was. Like, that movie freaked the country out because it was just nothing in the world. Felt like that movie. And still nothing does.
It's a great film.
Do you... I remember the first time I saw the 2-tape VHS that was like the I don't think they called it the director's cut, but it was like the unedited version or whatever. And the second tape had all the deleted scenes and all interviews. And I saw this at a buddy of mine's house and I was like, what the hell is this? How did I not know it? Because I had the old Warner Brothers tape that was cut and, you know, it was a theatrical version. And I was just shocked. That might've been the very first like special edition release that I ever laid my eyes on. But I was just like it was like the holy grail, like that thing. And I finally got my hands on it. And I watched that thing to death.
I had the Image Laserdisc release. That was the first way the director's cut was available.
I like the death of Ashley Judd. They should have kept that in the movie. I love that where he's tapping the pencil on the thing. He's looking at her like, and they just start stabbing her with it.
And Dennis Leary's soliloquy in the prison should have been kept. I mean,
yeah.
But there's so much in that movie already.
It's great. So good.
I love that movie so much.
If you wanted to, have you ever read James Hamster's book about the making of it? The stuff that the studio said no to. Oh my God! He originally wanted after well, I'm not sure of the order, but there was 3 endings to the movie, and the movie was going to keep cut. It was going to have an ending, and then it was going to cut, go back to where it was, and give you a different ending, then cut and go back again and give you another ending, because like the whole idea was that like it was like channel surfing, right?
Yeah. And
so the story was going to end a bunch of different ways at the end, and they were like, no. One alternative was shot, and it does appear on like as extras on releases, but which is the murder in the van where Owen kills.
We're gonna be fine.
Van. But no, I mean, it was going to be even a wilder movie. By the way, I own the Tarantino and Avery screenplay. Forget it. It's not his film at all. Like, there's scenes, but it's not his film at all. Yeah. It's Stone's film, 100%.
Yeah. Like, I remember the interview they did with Robert Downey Jr. on that. And this was like in the depths of his heroin addiction. He looked like he weighed about 92 pounds. He's totally out of it. He's actually holding a spoon in his hand, probably the same spoon and like he's putting it in his mouth, and he's just totally out of it. He's talking about, we were shooting in the prison, and there were pipes underground. Like, these are sewer pipes, and they're leaking shit. Like, we're in prison shit, and like he's putting his heroin spoon in his mouth, and Like, geez, this guy's out of it. And
The under part of it's burnt.
why that's footage they probably shouldn't have added. But because he was in really bad shape. That was a really bad time in his life.
Dude, Aerosmith was better when they were on drugs too, though.
Everything before the Armageddon soundtrack, right?
I love Rodney.
Everything before Mirrors was
done with Mirrors. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, everything done when they were on drugs. They were great.
You gotta love that to support that record. They opened for Ted Nugent,
and he wasn't shit in the mid '80s.
No, but he was fucking like repulsed by them where they were at.
Yeah. Oh man.
I love Rodney Dangerfield in Natural Born Killers.
Yeah.
Isn't he great?
Who would have thought?
Dude, that's the man.
So,
brilliant casting.
One brilliant thing about his role that doesn't get talked about a lot, they actually manually slowed down his voice using tape distortion. So he comes off as even creepier. So if you listen closely, you'll be like, "Oh, this is so messed up."
Yeah,
yeah, and I love how how Stone put over the canned applause and laughter, during he'd say the most horrible things to Juliette Lewis, and you'd hear, "Ah." It's like,
you won't see my face for a week.
Yeah, you won't see my face for weeks. Ah. It's like, no. So, yeah, that's a great movie. You don't hear a lot of people talking about that movie these days. A great soundtrack too.
My second favorite film of all time.
I used to rock this soundtrack all the time.
I think I have a cassette of it somewhere. Memory serves.
Best use of Leonard Cohen and Patti Smith in film.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe the Millennium season 2 finale for Patti Smith. I don't know, but definitely Leonard Cohen.
Yeah,
way better than that Watchmen shit.
But why do you think it doesn't? Why do you think it gets lost in the shuffle? You think it's because it's the casting? It's not like they were stars, but they're not marquee names.
Everyone today is a marquee name in that movie, but
today, yeah, like Woody Harrelson and stuff. I mean,
I think it's a film that challenges conventions. Like we remember when Siskel and Ebert would review a film, they wouldn't review the film. In many cases, they'd review the morality of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, Natural Born Killers is using murder as a metaphor for the natural order, and the fact that we are repressing what it is to be humans by not murdering. And I think for a lot of people that grew up thinking that films had to be moral in a strict code, this movie just doesn't play for them. I think they want to ignore it because they want the Oliver Stone to be the guy who makes biopics of presidents and anti-war films about Vietnam. Whereas, in a way, Natural Born Killers is kind of the Oliver Stone that made Seizure. And I don't think they can handle that. I love it, though. I love every moment of it.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Natural Born Killers.
My favorite moment is at the end of the prison riot. Well, not at the very end, but when they escape down into the basement and Owen is leading him. He has the shotguns in his hand. He's walking. He goes, "Sometimes I come down here when things get to be too much and I just need the quiet." So good.
I used to love the scene where, Woody Harrelson's telling, the joke right before they're getting to the breakout scene.
Little Johnny, no!
Yeah, Little Johnny, no!
Yeah.
And then, of course, it breaks into that Rage Against the Machine song. And, yeah. Great movie. Great movie.
After Columbine, I know that movie was everywhere. People were shitting on it hard, but yeah, I don't know why today in particular it's not talked about. I consider it one of the great American movies of all time, but
I mean, put it in the year of 1994 by itself. What's its competition? You got The Crow, which I like The Crow, but it's no contest there. But what else is in 1994? Was it a stacked year? Something else.
Well, I mean,
to consider?
that was the year of Forrest Gump. That was the year of Pulp Fiction.
Fiction, yeah.
So I mean, those two movies pretty much, those were the two big movies of that year.
Natural Born Killers also had an additional problem that we don't talk about anymore, or seems to be buried, which is that a lot of theater chains really cut the number of showings of it because they were afraid to have a film that violent at a time when kids would still show up. So basically all your matinees were gone. So that film had like everything lined up against it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one of the posters, the subway poster of the film is the two shot of Woody and Juliet leaning against the car. And they actually, in many markets, not digital, but they altered the photo because you could clearly see Juliette Lewis's nipples.
Donkey in the bed.
Right.
And like, it was a big deal. It's like, what kind of a movie would put that on a subway, like, 16 feet tall? And it was like, well, it's kind of what Natural Born Killers is, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a film in which you're going to get a scene where Juliette Lewis, who's sexually frustrated, so she goes to a gas station, tries to have sex with a guy, but when that's not working, freaking murders him on the spot. And that's not a major plot point.
Yeah.
It's just a thing that happens. It's a film where your hero cop might just murder a prostitute in a hotel room because he's pissed off that he's not on the right side of this.
It's in California kind of gets lumped in a little bit with
California.
Yeah,
the Duchovny film.
Yeah, it was like 12 months apart with the same female lead. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you like that one, Lorne, or?
I think it's a great first watch. I think it's a hard film to revisit and have the same feelings about. It's funny. A couple of years ago, there was a film called The Ugly, which no one talks about, out of Australia. And to me, that's almost like kind of the better version of that same movie in a way. They're very different plot-wise, but thematically, I don't know. I think The Ugly is a great film. I think California is a great first watch. I saw it a second time with friends, and I was like, wow, this isn't working for me like it did the first time. But that's a conversation. Piz, I know you and I have talked about this in the past. Like, there are movies that are better to watch once and never go back to. And you'll have just wonderful feelings about.
Right.
Yep.
And that's true. That's true. I talk about The Ugly. I love the Ugly. I wish it got more attention.
There's not a blue release of that, is there? It's still just that fucking Blockbuster exclusive DVD that everyone has a used copy of.
Yeah.
I googled movies of 1994, and you got In the Mouth of Madness, Wes Craven's New Nightmare,
Nothing Burgers,
Tammy and the T-Rex.
Kind of got released, not really.
Speed, Leprechaun 2.
I thought Speed was 93. It was 94.
I think it was 94. January.
I love Speed.
Pumpkinhead 2.
That really broke ground.
It wasn't even a wide release. So,
Phantasm 3.
Oh, now we're talking.
Release.
That was
Highlander 3. Wow,
that was a wide release.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go, Rutger Hauer, Surviving the Game.
Oh,
I like that as a kid.
I remember that one.
It didn't make a bit of money, but that's a good fucking movie.
It's fun, yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I
think
Major League 2 came out in 1994 with the awesome recasting of Willie Mays Hayes as Omar Epps, if memory serves.
Oh, from Wesley Snipes, yeah.
The only good thing about Major League 2 is when the star Tom Berenger, I think's his name, he goes over to Omar Epps. He goes over to Willie Mays Hayes' house, and he looks at the commercial for his new movie, and it's Black Hammer and White Lightning, and it's Jesse Ventura.
I remember
and
that.
they're like gunning people down off, like they're on like a battle, it's like a pirate ship. He's like, "I killed more than you. Mine died harder." It's just that's the best part of that movie.
I mean, I still quote Major League 2 to this day. He's got no marbles.
Oh man.
Time Cop also came out in 94.
Hey, okay, that's one of my all-time favorites. I love Time Cop.
The first number one hit at the box office for Van Damme.
Dude, I always ask my dad, I was like, because I'm such a Van Damme guy, and as Dan knows, my dad loves Steven Seagal. I think I think ironically loves him, but he champions Seagal at every waking moment. But I'm always like, Dad, did you go see Time Cop in the theater? He's like, oh, I saw Time Cop. I saw, Out for Justice. I saw all those action films and blah, blah. And he told me, because he remembers Time Cop, he was waiting around the block in New Orleans East to go see that and stuff. And like, it was a real big deal. And I wish we had more movies like that in America. I know we have them overseas. Lawrence wised me up, but why can't we have it here too? It's like, no, The Rock has to wear, tights, black tights, and fly in the sky for an hour and a half.
I saw Time Cop in the theater. I freaking loved it.
How good is it, man? I like the concept. It's just a great film.
I think it made over $100 million, and then after that was whenever he signed like a huge deal for like a 3-movie deal, and then it was like a sudden death.
Yeah, and then they didn't renew. They didn't renew because he did The Quest. He spent a shit ton of money. I like the movie, but he spent a shit ton of money and tried to direct it himself. And the director of photography directed the movie. But then some of those Columbia movies after that are not that bad. I think Maximum Risk was pretty good.
Yeah, I forgot that one. Yeah.
Was Nowhere to Run Columbia, or was that also Universal?
That was a Columbia one, I do believe.
Okay, he did some good stuff, but Time Cop was his black album.
He kind of had a formula where he was always revenging his twin brother, and he was prior military. That was always kind of like the plot.
Dude,
Christian, will you move the microphone away from under your nose, because your heavy breathing is really turning on Joe Bob Tar Heel.
I'm sorry. Is that better?
That's better.
There you go.
Okay, my bad.
Before we get too far, I just want to point out that, because Christian mentioned it, so on my channel on Thursday, there will be a group discussion featuring some wonderful familiar faces discussing the amazing Indian action film, a real action film, like nothing we get in America in the last couple decades, Decad, on my channel, Just Talking Decad, on Thursday evening.
Yeah, people actually are on the ground when they die. They're not in the sky.
And a whole lot of people die. Like a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
Sorry, shameless promotion. Go back to what you're doing.
We've covered a lot of ground there. I don't know. Speaking of Jean-Claude Van Damme, I don't. When did Albert Pyun pass away? Because he passed away recently.
Maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay, because I don't remember if we mentioned him on the last Patron stream or not. Surely we did, because I know because I'm a fan of his. But in case we didn't, I mean, Albert Pyun, who directed Cyborg, he directed Nemesis, he directed tons and tons of really fun, like the canon style kind of movies back in the day. Passed away recently, and he will definitely be missed.
Sword and the Sorcerer.
He did some work with Charlie Band too. I know he did some early Full Moon Arcade, which oh my god, I love Arcade. Yeah. It's such a little fun movie.
He was just such a nice guy. That was like, I believe, the first or second big celebrity interview that I did, and he was so cool. He just hung out with us after, told us all sorts of cool stories, some of the stuff he was attached to. He had some dirt that he dished on Charlie Sheen and Steven Seagal and some of these bigger stars that he worked with. Definitely go through his catalog. There's some gems there. A lot of times he had to make movies under really difficult circumstances, particularly that end of his career with the stuff he did like in Eastern Europe with like Ice-T and random rappers. He had a hell of a time, but
Mean Guns.
Yeah,
Mean Guns.
Mean Guns is amazing.
Yeah.
Was it a fantastic film?
Ice-T and Christopher Lambert, is that right?
Yeah, Christopher Lambert goes out to his car and meditates for half the movie, but he's in it, yes.
It's been a while since I've seen that one. I don't remember very much about that one.
If you love like gunfire porn, that movie can't be beat.
Yeah.
I recently watched Nemesis again.
I love Nemesis. I saw
and
Nemesis
I was
in the
like,
theater.
wow.
I saw it in the Cineplex Odeon in Edison, and there was like 4 people in the theater. And I love that movie. I don't like any of the sequels, but I love that original film.
Olivier Gruner. And
Olivier Gruner, Tom Matthews.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas Jane's in there.
Thomas Jane's in that movie.
Yeah.
I think he shows his butt.
It's just a crazy movie. And yeah, they didn't have the money to pull off any of it, but that's kind of the charm of it.
I actually think the action sequences in that are quite strong. There's some movies not too long after that stole a few iconic scenes.
The Matrix.
Yeah, shooting out the floor and fall. Like there's stuff that's not easy to do. And you know, you didn't have a massive budget, but Nemesis feels like a big movie in comparison to a lot of action films now.
Until the stop motion at the end, and you go, "Oh, maybe not."
Well, you know, I'll still take that over some of the things we get.
Because he pulls the guy at the end through the spaceship, and it like cuts his head off like the tip. Oh, it was that was like, wow, that's something.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Yeah. He did some real. I mean, he did some really fun movies on shoestring budgets and made them look and feel much bigger than, you know, the resources that he had to work with. Like even, I mean, look at, you know, Cyborg feels like a big movie, and it's really not. I mean, they're kind of using the castaways of what was supposed to be Masters of the Universe Part 2, those sets and stuff, wardrobe and stuff. So, you know,
he took chances. Like he didn't like something like Radioactive Dreams, for anybody that remembers that movie. You know, it wasn't just throwaway fluff. I'm not saying everything was good. He certainly made bad movies, but I think he was a guy with a very particular vision. Probably should have had a much bigger career than he did, but I do think he made a lot of stuff that's worth going back and seeking out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I bet you he was probably really good at wearing a lot of hats, you know, being able to pull off movies with micro budgets. I'm sure he could produce, direct. I'm sure he wrote. I'm sure he could edit like a machine. Like he was probably just a one-man band, you know, to be able to pull all that kind of stuff off. I didn't even know he was sick. It just seemed like he died out of the blue.
There's a Facebook page that his wife Cynthia runs. I think it's Albert Pyun Movies or something, but you can go on there and people have been sharing their memories and everything. I'm sorry I don't know the exact group, but I'm sure if you type in his name you'll find it. Some good stuff there. Let her know what he meant to you.
He'd been sick for a while. He'd been declining slowly for a while.
Dementia, I believe.
But it had gotten pretty bad as of late, and she had been posting like, you know, he's, you know, these are his final days. If you guys want to send him, you know, comments, tell him how much his movies meant to you. You know, I'll read those to him when things get bad, and he likes that. And so, you know,
I saw RLM did a video for him too.
Yeah, he was a genuinely just nice guy. Like I said, he just hung out with us, and I don't think he fully realized that. I don't want to say he didn't realize he didn't have fans, but I don't know if he fully comprehended the impact he had. Just some of those early sort of cyberpunk films, and he went on forever trying to explain the concept of cyberpunk to like investors, which is tough. It's like he's like, what is it exactly, and how do you explain that to like a 70-year-old money man? You know?
Right?
Yeah. A lot of business stuff. He was a very smart guy.
I want, before we close things out here, you know, the holidays are of course right around the corner. Everybody's watching their favorite holiday horror movie this time of year. Can we recommend to everybody a holiday horror movie, but not, you know, not Black Christmas, not Silent Night, Deadly Night, something a little more obscure, maybe something they need to dig for on Shudder or Tubi or whatnot? Can anybody throw out a good more obscure holiday horror movie. Chris, I see you rose your hand. Go ahead.
So I was going to go with Dan's recommendation from last year was Santa's Sleigh with Bill Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun.
More than
Write
you
that
would
one
think.
down.
It's really good. It's really
Yeah.
good.
One of the funniest openings.
Yes.
Yeah, in a movie.
Santa Sleigh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't.
Santa's Sleigh. Yes. SLAY.
That's
I
the
know
one.
it's a Goldberg movie, and you wouldn't expect anything great, but that's actually a lot of fun.
It is.
Perfect. He's perfectly cast in that role because all he's got to do is go, ah! You know, I mean, he's just playing Goldberg from WCW in the 90s, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Taking care of Bret Hart's career, things like that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Gave him that concussion, man. That ended it.
That's, you know.
Two quick ones.
Sure.
First off, The Lodge is a Christmas movie, and you cannot do wrong by revisiting The Lodge. The other one is the 2010 Dutch film Sint or Saint in America, which kind of gets overshadowed by I can't think of the other film that
Deadly Games.
No, I was thinking
Krampus.
It doesn't matter what I was thinking at this point, I guess. But
Rare Exports.
Rare Exports is what I was thinking.
Okay.
Because they're very similar in intent. But Sint goes off the rails, whereas like Rare Exports really doesn't. Rare Exports is awesome, but it stays kind of inside its story, whereas Sint just goes insane and does things that movies probably shouldn't do if they want to keep their audience. So of course I love it for it. So if you've never seen it, search it. I think Tubi has it.
It does. Tubi does have it.
So you have no excuses, people.
I throw out the 1995 Alex de la Iglesia film Day of the Beast. It's a good one. Really good movie. People forget it's a Christmas movie. It may not be the most Christmassy of Christmas horror movies, but I do highly recommend that one. It's on 4K now.
And that one is definitely on Shudder.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
that one's definitely on Shudder.
Yeah. If you want stupid but unique, 1989's Elves. And a killer elf with a Nazi subplot. Just yeah.
Dan just likes the incest.
Yeah. I'll just put another one. If you want something more like serious, the Advent Calendar.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah. I love that movie. Yeah. Love that movie. That one's also on Shudder.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, love that movie. Now Elves, Swaggy, you're gonna have to just watch that one on an old VHS rip on YouTube because it doesn't have an official release, but it's on YouTube, or it used to be. So
yeah, I found. I think it was To All a Good Night. I feel like I found that on YouTube, but it didn't have the nudity in it.
There is a Blu-ray of that one.
There is a Blu-ray of that one out now, yeah. And I think it's on Shudder too, I believe. I'm not sure if it's a good quality, or if it's like, you know.
I believe it's the Blu-ray.
Okay.
Yeah, quality. You should be good if it's still on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you watch closely in Elves, you can just see Dan Haggerty's spirit die. I'm pretty sure. There's a section where he's like kind of like almost explaining the plot. I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew what he was in.
He was so drunk at that point he didn't know where he was, what he was talking about.
There's a scene where you have a shootout in a store with a killer elf that looks like shit, a bunch of Nazis and Grizzly Adams. That's reason enough to watch it. And yeah, the YouTube version of that's going to look the same as anything. So treat yourself to some lunacy.
I'll watch it on these days off I have.
Now,
go ahead, Lauren.
I was going to say, now it's not a Christmas movie in any way, shape, or form, but I just want to point out right now that brand new release last week, Blur. It's a Indian remake of Julia's Eyes, the Spanish film, which is well regarded, but it's kind of a nothing burger for most people. It is an outstanding film now. Blur is amazing. Central performance from Tapsi Panu, who of course rocked it. Is my favorite final girl of all time and Game Over. But the thing that's really crazy about this movie is they took Julia's Eyes and decided to use the aesthetics of Lucio Fulci to tell the story again. There's moments in the film that feel completely just ripped completely out of Fulci. And I love the movie to death. I think it's one of the year's best. Jump on it if you got the means to watch it. That's Blur with 2 R's.
Cool. Did anybody receive this or go pick up this today? The Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, 4, and 5 collection.
Yeah, we're doing a franchise show on it, and I know you got the man himself coming up in a few days, right? I think.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna do a stream with Eric on Thursday night. Yeah, so we're gonna shoot the bull and just have a hangout, a holiday hangout with Eric Freeman.
Nice,
So,
nice.
Yeah. But I would throw out, it's funny because I mean, like these movies have had just like the worst reputation over the years. And I can't say that any of them are great movies, but of the 3, and I like part 3, even though it's, part 4 is so bizarre. It's not even really a Christmas movie. Like I think at one point, somebody told Brian Usno, we're going to make this a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie. And he went, oh, damn. Just hang some garland up over there in the background. Okay, we're good. And part 5 is so much better that it has any right being. It's a take on Pinocchio, and it's got, of course, Mickey Rooney in it, and Mickey Rooney very
did not like it.
Was an outspoken advocate against the original Silent Night, Deadly Night back in the day, and he was in Silent Night, Deadly Night 5. So there's some irony there, of course. And all of those movies you can find on, I think, Tubi and on Shudder. So, just give them a watch. Give them a watch. Check them out. Bill Moseley with like a salad bowl on his head, and you can see his brain inside. What's not to love about that?
Yeah, film directed by Monty Hellman.
Monty Hellman, yes, the great Monty Hellman.
You can't get more exploitation royalty than that.
And what's unfortunate is this is out now, but Monty Hellman's gone. I'd love to have gotten a Monty Hellman commentary on this. Like, how did Monty Hellman get involved with Silent Night, Deadly Night 3? And like, that would have been that'd been quite a commentary.
Because the only thing I was going to add was you were telling people, go ahead and try to stream them and check them out, which I agree. But at the same time, you got to give Vestron credit. They kind of guilt-proof the pricing of those releases now, which is fantastic, like just absolutely fantastic. So
you can get this for like $15 on Amazon. And I'm sure it'll end up in Walmart for about the same price if it's not already. So, I mean, yeah, like Vestron stuff now is very, like the dentist collection is like $14 on Amazon right now. The pre-order.
Brian Eustace, like, finally, my career's on Blu-ray now.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, support physical media, and they've priced the 3 movies, and they're not all on the same disc. I've heard some people say, "Well, are they all on the same disc?" No, it's 3 discs in here. So
I couldn't believe that. It's 3 discs. I opened it up when I got home. I was like, "What? It feels a little heavy. Is that the separate disc?" And sure enough, it was.
Mm-hmm. Daniel says it's actually $11.99 at Best Buy. So
this is it also makes me wonder, slipcase, separate discs, $11.99. Do we need to wise up a little bit about these other companies pricing this stuff? And look at Piz. Can you kind of browse the back for just a second on that and see what we got on them?
Yeah, there's quite a lot of extras on these, to be honest. Like every one of them has an audio commentary. Every one of them has interviews. I mean, so. If another company had released this, $30, bare minimum, $30, $35,
higher.
I think we need to start having conversations about that.
20. There's a book in here. Ghostwatch. I mean,
yeah,
it's a big, thick set. $20.
There's 2 books in there.
Yeah, I haven't even opened it yet. I literally just got it before this show.
That's my favorite release this year.
Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be $60.
This is the thing. It's like we've already lost the mainstream on physical media. That's gone. It's just gone. You know, we're going to be down at least 22% again year over year. That's not coming back. But as these boutique labels are surviving right now based on, you know, the titles and the rarity and the movement online, right? But if they continue to price out of range, it's going to be less and less people. There's no new converts over saying, "Hey, let's get involved in that expensive hobby." So they got to stop this. If charging $50 for a title, that has to end. That's got to end now.
You know, we were talking about the Four Flies on Gray Velvet. A lot of people wanted to buy this because this is like, I mean, this was the least accessible of Argento's big run. All of his movies during that big. Shameless had it, yeah. I've got that Blu-ray somewhere. But it was the one that kind of flew under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people were excited about picking this up. And like when I was doing that stream on Black Friday, and when I was shocked. I refreshed Severin's page and was like, $60? Holy crap. You know what I mean?
So so put your mind into the idea of a 15-year-old just getting into the horror genre, right? They're looking at what they're going to go out there and buy. They've heard great things about Argento. Maybe they've already seen Suspiria. Now we're going to try and get them to work. But they're working a part-time job, right? So say they're doing 3 shifts a week of 5 hours as a shift. We're basically asking them to hand over half their paycheck for one movie.
Yeah.
That's not a hobby he wants to have if he wants to go out and take a girl out to dinner and maybe see a movie in the theaters or get lunch every day rather than, have to pack a bag to work. I mean, this is not happening. Like, they got to get smarter.
Look, I was there. I was in that boat in like the early 2000s, being a broke guy and, wanting, I salivating over these Anchor Bay releases, at Sam Goody and just being like, God, if only, you know what I mean? And then go into the bargain bin and pull it. But, the Sam Goody bargain bin, I miss those diamond releases that were bad releases. That's how I saw so many freaking amazing movies.
Mm-hmm.
They were $5. That's how I saw Pieces for the first time. That's how I saw The Beyond for the first time. That's how I saw Kill Baby Kill for the first time. So many movies I saw for the first time via those crappy releases in the $5 bin at Sam Goody because I couldn't afford dropping $30, $20-$30 on a DVD from Anchor Bay, even though I would have loved to.
Well, because think about it, right? So, like, we all grew up, or at some point in our youth anyway, renting movies from a video store, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we discovered. We couldn't buy all these movies for the first time watch. But we're kind of asking, like, younger people getting into it to do that now. Because if they just stream everything, let's be honest, they're not going to buy everything they stream. There's a lot of movies you watch and say, I really like that, but I'm not going to buy everything I like. It's those of us that are trading on nostalgia that are doing it. We're not a big enough pool unless they bring the pricing way down. There's most movies should come out at a $15 price point. I really believe that. And then it would be a no-brainer for all of us if we like the movie at all. But when it is $30, $40 for a single movie, I'm sorry. I'm not in a position. I think I'm doing pretty well in life, but I can't justify it. Not with gas prices where it is, not where my property taxes is. I can't justify it. If something's a big mainstream release that I want, I buy it used from Redbox for under $5. I don't get art, but why the hell do I care? At that point, it's at the cost of what I used to pay for a rental from Blockbuster 20 years ago. I can own a movie today on a better format. So why am I going to pay from a boutique label 10 times that for a single film, which I've seen? And I didn't buy Four Flies. It's not my favorite Argento. There's days when I like it more than I probably should, but I can't justify the price tag. I just can't.
Yeah, I'm a little salty about that.
I bought it, and they made it look like it was going to be a hard box with a book, and they gave it seemed kind of vague, and the picture of it was suspect. And I don't know. I think I'm just going to bite the bullet on it, and just accept it because I don't know. I've never seen it. I want to see it. But
Ooh, a blind buy for that much? Oh,
I mean, it's Dario. I mean, what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? It's just.
I think you'll be okay, Christian. At the end of the day, once you've made peace with the price tag, because it's still it feels like a classic Dario film.
Right.
It's not Deep Red. It's not Bird with the Crystal Plumage. You got to get that out of your head. But if you've made peace with that, you'll be happy to have the movie. I don't think you'll be happy about what you paid for the movie, but I mean, let your conscience be your guide. I just wish these companies were doing something to help protect physical media. We talk all the time about wanting physical media to survive, and it seems like these labels are doing everything they can to make sure it doesn't.
Well, and to play devil's advocate for a moment for Severin, there's a lot of extras on it. So I mean, they do give you a lot of extras, and you know, if you love that Ennio Morricone score, you've got the soundtrack CD right there with it as well. What I don't like is this deceptive stuff of if you want this movie, if you want this release, you got to get it now for $60 because this is it. We're never going to release this in any other way. And then 6 months later, well, here's the standard edition for $30. You know what I mean? Minus the soundtrack, minus maybe, you know, I don't know, no slipcase or something. I don't know, but I don't like those. The companies that are doing those deceptive practices, I love their releases, most of them, but I don't like this kind of
Hucksterism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, people in the chat are talking about like VHS tapes suggested retail back in the day, but you got to remember the market was different. VCRs were still coming into the homes, and it was simply not really even cost effective to press enough titles to make it cheap enough to have sell-through pricing. But when, you know, once 86 comes around and the VCRs are starting to be in all the houses, then Top Gun gets released at $20. The moment there was a wide enough audience for this stuff, was there still films that were released for a long time at rental only prices? Yeah, but that was a strategy. And they generally speaking stayed that way for a couple of years and then became sell-through. What's happening now is a completely different animal. They're intentionally taking movies, in some cases 50-year-old movies, mind you, and saying, well, this is probably your last chance to ever own it if you want it, because you know the industry is going down the toilet. So, you know, if you want it, you have to pay what we want. It's like mafia tactics, and this would not happen if physical media was healthy. If physical media was still healthy, they wouldn't be able to pull this shit. They're applying this trade that if you want it, you better do it, because you know there's not going to be some other company that licenses this in 5 years. So if you want it, last chance. And I think it's deceptive, and I think it is killing physical media. I don't think it's something we should support. I think if we can hold off on these titles, we know standard editions will come, where they leave one freaking thing off or make a new menu, right? Just wait for it. If you can hold out, do it. I don't think it's going to save the business, but man, maybe we'll send a message that we don't appreciate being, you know, lied to and ripped off.
Yeah.
I didn't even ask for permission for that one.
It's just, I mean, at least, you know, you look at Arrow, at least they have a formula and you know what to expect. If you don't want phenomena on a big old box, just wait 3 months, you know, and like stuff Severin's doing, like you're talking about, it's like they hold the keys and they'll do whatever they want to do. And you're right. If we don't support it, though, like what you said, are we going to kill it? Then whose fault is this? Our fault or their fault? We will, you know, nobody, the people will bitch. Well, you didn't support them. And then we're in such a fuck situation with all that, you know, it just sucks. But I just hope that movie's good.
I think
I'm
you're
gonna
okay.
make myself like it.
Yeah, I think
great third act. Great third act.
I think you'll like it. Yeah.
The center act is kind of bloated and weird and doesn't really add up to much, but it starts kind of strongish. Not, if you're expecting a big bloodbath opening, you're going to be disappointed. But I like the opening a lot. I think it's moody, and I think the ending is amazing. It might be the best of the trilogy's ending, to be honest. But there's a lot of bloat. Just be ready for that.
Yeah, Dario wanted to do something different from the first two movies.
I told Lauren the other night, at least we got Dark Glasses, man. And RLJ's putting that out, and that'll be a budget blue, and I loved it. I really, no bullshit. I really, really loved it. I thought it was great.
As did I. I mean, but that tells you that this year was so strong. It's not even in my top 10, and I love that movie. It's a Dario Argento film. Dario Argento and David Cronenberg both released genuinely great films this year, and neither one of them are on my top 10 because it was that damn good a year.
But you know what's cool is just the way you say it. It's the context of it. It'd be one thing if we were like, oh, did y'all see Dario Argento's doing a movie? No. It's a Dario Argento film. You know what I mean? Right. It's like you preface it with his name, meaning like, no, it's legit. It's good.
Yeah.
So
that car crash sequence is as show-stopping as anything he's done since his heyday.
I couldn't believe it when I was watching it. I was like, Jesus, man, like he pulled this off. You know what I mean?
There's an interview, a new interview with Dario on the Four Flies on Grey Velvet, and he's 82 years old, but he doesn't look bad for 82. I mean, he looks like he's still got a lot of life in him. So I mean, I hope Dark Glasses isn't his last film. But I mean, if it is, he went out on a high mark. So.
Dude, I couldn't believe Chris Sarandon was like, I think he's 80 or 81. He was on a podcast the other day on Inside of You. I forgot, Michael Rosenbaum. And and Michael said, how do you feel now that you're in your 80s? He's like, oh, I feel great. And I couldn't believe he was in his 80s. It's remarkable. I don't know what the hell these people are doing. They look better than me. It's insane. But I would have never thought he was 80. It's crazy. He still has a full head of hair. I don't even think he didn't even look like he was coloring his hair. Like it looked like he had natural brown hair. Go look up that interview with Chris Sarandon. It was literally right when Tom Holland's book came out. He got that Fright Night book that he just did, Fright Night Origins. And I guess Chris was helping promote that. It's insane.
Maybe he really is a vampire.
That's what Michael asked him.
Maybe he's doing something with virgin blood. I don't know.
Where can you get virgin blood these days?
Ask Chris Sarandon. He's getting it somewhere.
I think inflation has moved that right off the target for pricing worse than physical media.
Oh, geez. Well, let's call it a night here. I tried to catch Mike napping and put him on center screen, but I couldn't catch him.
I nearly did.
I was close a couple of times, but he'd wake up. So,
what time is it there?
3:30.
Yeah, it's late over there for Mike. But let me do some shout outs here, and then we'll call it a night. Shout out to Lost Tune. Shout out to Reordrin. To Grave Dank for tuning in over on Twitch. Thank you guys. Shout out to we got the Big Crack Rock, our man here hanging out with us. The foreskin market is just exploding these days. We got our buddy the Daily Ghost, who unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight, but Ghost, we love you. Well, hopefully we'll see you next time. Have a great Christmas. We got our good buddy here, Jess, Cable Channel 11, who's hanging out. What's going on, Jess? Hope you're doing well. We've got Chester here. We've got Jason Byers Official. We've got my buddy Alex Bacon hanging out with us tonight. We've got Robert Long, Bill Bixby. Robert Long showing some love for Bill Bixby. That's good.
He was a lonely man.
I got my buddy here, the Bearded Sloth. Hope you're doing well, man. Let's see. Brian Trash is with us tonight. Scratch Burno. JK Movie Fan, Chester 22, Daniel Timms, Mishra Shade, Bog Zombie, Cliff Booth, Michael Sullivan, Darren Burrows, Jesse Perkins. Shout out to Nico for the $10 super chat and the $5 super chat. Shout out to the Daily Ghost for the $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Shout out to Ali Hamoud for the $2 super chat. And thank you, Alex Bacon, for being a channel member 2 months in a row. This is for you guys.
What's up? What's up? What the fuck's up, Denny?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right.
Rock and roll, R.I.P.
Let's see. Giant Chris, where can we find you on social media, sir?
Pretty much anywhere you can see Sam. Twitter is at Bonus Pretzel. Facebook is just me, Chris Johnson. Pretty much it. I have Instagram and other stuff. I don't care.
Well, I know Sam had a procedure today. Hopefully she's, we all wish her a speedy recovery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's doing okay. Yeah, just a lot of pain right now, but doing okay nonetheless.
Just keep the meds going.
Mm-hmm. She did also want to tell you guys a story about our little black cat Soul. We're trying to go to bed last night, and he discovers that the fan exists last night. So he's shouting at it because he wants to kill it. Like the ceiling fan on the ceiling. He's just meowing off his head for like an hour. Then I grab him, pick him up, put him towards the fan. And he's like starts purring, trying to paw at the little lights.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Well, thank you for joining me tonight, Chris, and give our best to Sam, of course.
Will do.
Dan, where can we find you on social media, sir?
Flesh Wound Features here on YouTube, and you'll get to see all of us together in Pomona, California on February 18th at the XPW event. That's going to be really, really big. Some cool stuff that I can't talk about, but that's going to be really, really big. So check us out.
Will Superhuman be there?
He will not. I think that there's some guys that don't like him very much and would do bad things to him. So
not Superhuman. Are you talking about Pugs?
Pugs I don't think Pugs, Kruger, or Todd think very highly of Superhuman. So
this is for all the juggalos and juggalettes. If you like it.
I don't think he wants to run into Schlack, but and also on our channel, Slashmas, the new tournament, the new Christmas horror tournament just started today. So check it out. We got a bunch of Christmas horror content.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, what are the odds that one of the Flesh Wound members will end up in the ring?
You never know.
Oh, wow. Will there be a chair or a cheese grater or like a garbage can lid involved? A pizza cutter?
All I will say is a lot of blood's gonna spill in Pomona. a lot of blood.
Oh man, jeez, goodness gracious. Swag, how many glasses of wine did you have tonight, Swaggy? 5. Wow.
How many in a bottle? 6?
I don't know on that. But I'm feeling pretty good. My heart is feeling pretty healthy right now.
You've got lots of
with your heart.
Antioxidants.
A lot of antioxidants flowing through you right now. You're doing good, man. You're doing good. Where can we find you on social media?
Let me just go down it. So I got to check out Day of the Beast, Righting Wrongs, Santa Sleigh, Scent, Advent Calendar, Blur, and Divide by Zero and Elves.
Yes.
Those are all the
Lauren,
recommendations.
Lauren, how do you feel to be put next,
Right next to elves.
Oh, and Alien.
I can only
PI.
look good
That's
by
another one.
comparison.
Can we tie elves into your universe there somehow?
Well, it's not impossible,
Thank you, Ghost.
but fairly unlikely.
And Jess.
But
when we get the Elves Divide by Zero crossover novel, that's gonna go through the roof.
It's,
shared universe.
well, people losing memory of things is part of this whole franchise. So who knows?
There
We'd
you
all
go.
like to forget elves.
So they can enjoy it again for the first time.
Yes.
That's not how elves work.
And pre-order it, and if you have time, read Blue Eel right before Divide by Zero comes out. It's an awesome novel if you haven't read it yet.
There is a chance when it comes out, it'll be titled Silent Night, Deadly Night 6, Elves, Divide by Zero.
That's
Wow.
that's
This is in Amityville.
not going to happen.
In Amityville, yeah.
Amityville, Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh, jeez. Swaggy, where can we find you on social media, man?
The only thing I'm on is Instagram, and it's private. John's Cool World. So whatever. Check it out if you want. I don't care.
You have to be approved to enter John's Cool World.
You would be disappointed. It's not what you would think. It's more about photography. Whatever.
It's not about the 90s movie Cool World?
That's where I got the name from.
Okay.
Because, that movie was a mess from what I understand. But I always loved that name, Cool World.
But it had My Life with the Thrill Kill cult on the trailer.
Mm.
Sex on Wheels. Great track.
And I can't remember the lady that was in that. It was Kim Basinger.
Kim Basinger.
But her character's name, I can't remember what her character's name was. But anyway, that's besides the point.
So Lauren, we know Divide by Zero's coming out in 2 weeks. It's going to be available on Amazon. If it's not in your local bookstore, you can ask them to purchase it for you, to order it for you. What else is going on with you, and where can we find you on social media?
At Lauren Dixon on the Twitters, and Visited by Voices 1 on YouTube. This Thursday, to remind everyone, we have the discussion of Decade, which should be pretty spirited because that's a film that I did share with a lot of people in Lexington in person. One of the things we do as a community is talk about movies, so it was a real joy to be able to share a movie with the folks we always talk about movies with. And I don't know if Piz has checked his mail recently, but he may own a copy of Decade.
I may, yes. I may.
There's that. It's funny. I just want to say something about the holiday, as odd as that might seem. I'm not a religious person, and I'm not one for a lot of sentimentality. This has been a rough year for me, as was last year, but there was a lot of shit that went down this year. And I know I'm not the only one, so I'm not making this about me. What I will say is that this community helped me a lot. There was a lot of well-wishing and a lot of nice things said at times when I desperately needed to hear it. I can't imagine where I'd be without you guys. Whether it's laughing at Robert Long mentioning Country Boy Will Survive, or whether it is popping on these streams, whether it's listening to Mike mention all the things I don't like on his streams religiously, whether it's the last couple of years I spent having a partner on my show in Sam, who's brought so much to this little dumb thing I created, to being able to spin off Dan about absolute obscurities that no one else seems to know. And to all the people that I don't really know that well, Swaggy, I don't really know you yet, man, but I'm looking forward that in the new year we can change that. And that's what this community is all about, having people. If it takes us a holiday for us to all admit that, then let's have a lot more holidays that I don't believe in the supernatural aspects of, because you guys really are the best. That's it.
Very nicely said, Lauren.
Mhm.
Very nicely said. And Robert agrees.
And that was not a desperate attempt to make you buy my book, but buy my book.
Mike, where can we find you on social media, sir?
You can find me on Twitter at BeetleReal and on YouTube with The Real Fifth Beetle right there. Live stream every week. So yeah, if you're not subscribed, go check me out.
And Christian, where can we find you?
You can find me on Planet CHH on YouTube, and just check the socials. I'm on most of them, and you can find me there as well, Planet CHH. The only thing I will promote selfishly is Unita Candles. We're actually going to be shutting down the site in a couple days to get ready for the new year. We already got a lot of stuff planned, but if you go to unitacandles.com right now or go to our Etsy page, use code HOLIDAY, you can get 25% off of Troll 2, Terror Train, or Trick or Treat wax melts. So take advantage of that and get those before we got to shut it down. So code HOLIDAY, 25% off. Can't beat it.
What is the Troll 2 scent?
No
Dude,
bog.
it's actually really good. Me and Sydney always talk about when are we going to do something silly, but I really want people to use them and make their house smell good. I always tell the bachelors, look, have your horror room. Your horror room can be sexy, and you know what women are going to love if it smells good in there. So we made the Troll 2 smell like pear, and it's really nice. So yeah. So we got Troll 2, Terror Train, and Always Check Your Candy, which is a fan favorite. It's from Trick or Treat. So holiday, 25% off, guys. Go grab them.
What does Terror Train smell like?
City, what is Terror Train? Do you remember? I can't remember. If you go to our Instagram page, look for the listing on it, and City puts she on the description. She shows you exactly what it smells like. But I can't remember. Right, I don't want to go grab one, but it's got like a holiday Christmassy scent.
Oh,
if memory
okay.
serves.
All right.
Christian, it smell exactly like your Halloween candle, but faint.
Yeah.
and if you do a prom night one, little fainter.
Ha! Yeah, no kidding, right?
I want to echo something my mom taught me. She said, John, you can't always look good, but you can at least smell good. So
that's right.
I'm with you on that.
Piz, where can we find you?
Everywhere. Everywhere. I'm omnipresent. Thursday at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, I'm going to do a watch party with Jeremy for Scrooged. So that'll be a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've seen Scrooged, and I don't know if Jeremy's seen it at all. He says he has, but I don't remember if he's seen that one or not. So that'll be a fun watch party over on Twitch. And then Thursday night, I'm going to be doing a stream with Eric Freeman, of course, of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. And we'll be giving away some cool stuff. I've got one of the box set boxes that I'm going to be giving away. I believe it's for Halloween. I've got some digital codes. I've got a couple of Eric Freeman Garbage Day magnets I'm going to give away. You put them on your fridge, you'll never forget when Garbage Day is. Right? So that'll be Thursday night. We're going to start that one at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And other than that, I've got some more reviews popping off here before too much longer. Yeah, that's about it. So, our Christmas stream, we're going to do that one on the 23rd at 1 p.m. So, and we'll be in costume. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Are you going to dress up like each other?
I can't fit in his clothes. That would be interesting, though. That'd be interesting. No, he will be Santa Jeremy, and I will be his elf, his very large elf. So
you'll be Will Ferrell. Is that what you're saying?
Sure, close enough. Yeah, close enough. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Everybody who tuned in, appreciate that. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I appreciate you guys being patrons. It's certainly very much appreciated. And hope everybody out there is having a great holiday season. And we'll see you guys again in the very near future. So take care. Have a good one. And peace.
What's up? up? What's up? What the fuck's up, Denny?